Look, Sultan, you fixed
I wasn't
Nightbot.
bloody ready.
The Nightbot actually works now. Hi everyone, how's the sound? Today we're going to be talking about 10th edition and all the reveals and things, and it's too big to talk about with one person, so I'm here with Sultan from Sultan Plays YouTube channel. Say something.
Something.
How is loud and clear even from this distance from the microphone?
Yeah, we're a bit far back.
We have a guest this evening. Say something more than something.
Something more than something.
Tell them about your YouTubes.
Oh, okay. Right. Yeah, okay. Fine. I have a YouTube channel. I'm Sultan. It's called Sultan Plays. And on it, I don't play. I just paint. But yeah, go check it out if you haven't already. But I think most of the names I recognise in here. So most of the people have already gone and checked it out because they're legends. So yeah, I do painting and things. And I'm actually doing a video for you this weekend.
You are doing a video for me this weekend. Secret project.
Super secret project. Can't actually talk about what is in the video, but there is a video from me coming on his channel, and use that as your free teaser before you come across to my channel and have more free stuff because it doesn't cost anything.
From you to me to them. We can't talk about it for NDAs, and you've done the NDA thing, so that's going to be very exciting. Say hello to some. Hello, Eric. I'm going to have to do this every now and then. That's and Des, friendly neighborhood inquisitor area Wolf Boot Chronicles. Who's Wolf Boot Chronicles?
Stylist.
He's always turning up, and he's always an arsehole.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
definitely stylist then.
Hi. Someone's because I'm all the way over here in my eyes. You're gonna have to keep an eye on the thread for any interest, and you now have a job.
I'll read every now and again. Yeah.
Okay.
Sub to Sultan or else raises bolter. Thanks, sanguinary god. That's the kind of stuff I'm gonna read.
Yeah, that's the first thing you read. Sub to.
I was like, it's just popped up at the bottom. I'll read
bolter.
Whatever that is. No. Oh dear Sultan, we talked about the headwear choice. This is not by choice. This is not
I
a
made
choice.
him put it on.
This is under duress.
Yeah, I said, wouldn't it be cool if two good-looking, intelligent, witty men appeared on camera wearing flat caps?
And I couldn't just probably go watch Peaky Blinders. Then,
I couldn't find two witty, intelligent men, so you got me and Sultan instead.
So he found a gun and pointed it at me and made me wear a hat.
Andy Byrne. Oh dear, Sultan, we failed.
I just read that, yeah.
We'll read it out.
I did.
Did you?
I read it, that's why we got into that conversation.
I wasn't paying any attention at all, really.
Oh dear.
So, hi gang, thanks for stopping by. Thank you.
Crap, we got Geralt of Rivia in the chat.
Geralt of Rivia.
Oh, mate, I love the stuff you did with the Striga.
The game's good.
Yeah, you probably. Yeah, which one did you play? Number 3.
Number 3.
Yeah, that's how I got into it, and then I read the books.
I sunk about 200 hours into the
bloody amazing game.
Witcher 3, including all the DLCs and things. They were all free, Witcher 3 DLC. You can watch.
Well, Blood and Wine and stuff wasn't.
It was free when I got it.
Oh, to be fair, you played it how long after it came out?
Came
out 2015.
Yeah, yeah. It's all a distant.
As anything that's over a day ago is a distant memory.
You're smashing out Cyberpunk now, right?
Again, yeah, for like the third time.
I've got.
Yeah, they got a big DLC coming out with Idris Elba, yeah.
Nice,
so
man.
and it's Keanu Reeves and Idris, so I'm gonna play through that. So I'm just starting a new character for the sake of that.
If there was ever a man set up perfectly positioned to play James Bond, it's Idris.
He'd be cool.
He would be very
Henry
cool.
Cavill would also be cool.
Henry Cavill would smash it.
I would say he also doesn't have much on his plate right now.
Apart from launching the whole of the Warhammer 40k IP to the big screen. Mind you, the Eisenhorn series, they've gone very quiet.
Yeah.
But
you know who they should have done for that?
What?
Rufus Sewell as Eisenhorn.
Who?
So, have you ever watched A Knight's Tale?
Yes.
You know the villain?
Yes, it's been a long time.
He's older now, but or Man in the High Castle. Local group and Ferris Smith. They'll know.
Okay.
They'll know. They're smarter than us.
I want Daniel Day-Lewis to be Eisenhorn. I think he's the only person
He'd be cool, but he
takes a certain amount.
I don't think
that
can win an Oscar, so I don't think he'll do it.
Well, he should. Well, I think Daniel Day-Lewis would smash it out of the park.
He would do so well that he'd win an Oscar for a TV show, which is impossible.
Gary Oldman, he inhabits characters he's inside.
Yeah.
Gary Oldman could smash it out of the park.
Gary Oldman just climbing into characters.
Yeah, climbing into. He becomes. Mind you, Gary Oldman could do Cherubel. He could do anything in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who do you think would be a good actor to play Eisenhorn in the Eisenhorn?
Danny
TV
DeVito. Can I offer you an egg in this trying time?
Joey Bad Ball Bad.
Of course it's bloody Joe. Like, for God's sake, Joe, get out.
So
why is he not a mod?
Joe
should be a mod. Imagine the stuff he could do. Being a mod.
That's probably a good reason not to give him a mod. So we're here to talk about the mega massive 10th edition stuff and things. That's why we've teamed up today.
Sorry, I was reading the...
And someone actually asked a 10th edition question. So what do we think about the new edition and all the new changes and the new stuff and things? Oh, we've got Nicolas Cage, by the way, would also make a great Eisenhorn.
The bees! What would he scream instead?
Imagine Nicolas Cage doing full Nicolas
The
Cage.
Zinch!
Yeah.
The dice!
Yeah, chaos! What do you think about the mega... So,
I think people care what you think. And
what do we do? What do we think about the new edition and the new changes and the new stuff and things? The main thing about the new edition, which I'm a big fan of, is the fact that it's a reset. Because I don't think the core rules are the problem with the current edition.
No.
The codexes are a problem with the current edition.
Yes.
I haven't got a PhD, so I haven't played AdMech for a while. You actually have tried playing AdMech from time to time.
Yeah. I don't know what an HD is, but my doctor says I have 80 of them.
Yeah. And so there is Custodes. There are a number of factions that I just stopped playing because of the codexes, not because of the core rules. So having a nice, lovely reset in there, resetting everything all down. It looks like the data sheets, not just the core rules, but the data sheets are going to be free online.
To begin with, at least, yeah. They said they'll do imagine the codexes might update things a tad. And probably, I'd like them to see the codexes come in with just a bunch of lore. And the data sheets are still pretty much valid.
Imagine if the codexes didn't have actually any rules in.
They're like an old anthem that you'd get each year at Christmas.
An anthem?
You remember what they called an anthem?
Like the Beano anthem.
Yeah.
And the Dandy.
Yeah, I used to get them for Christmas when I was very young.
Yeah.
And they'd be like, here's an anthem, and I'd just flip through it and it'd be like a big comic.
Yeah. So imagine if you had the Leagues of Votann tome, and then it was the art, and it was the painting, and it was math.
For this edition, this is their lore. And then the next edition, when 11th would to come out, which sounds weird to even say, but when 11th would come out, they say, here's the updated for this new arc.
Well, but if there is no rules in it, you can leave, these could roll over. I suppose, edition to edition.
I don't think they'll do that. There'll still be rules in codices, but I think it's an interesting idea. I think they'll still put the rules and data sheets in, because some people, and I'm one of them, it's just nice to have the book. Sometimes, even though it's immediately out of print and out of date.
You use apps and things, though.
I do. I like the apps
and the...
Yeah, for quick reference, amazing. But for actual going through and learning your rules, I think the book is easier. Like, especially for stratagems, just having stratagems, even though there are going to be fewer of them, it's going to be great. But the main thing is the army thing. There's no battalions. There's no brigades. There's no vanguard or spearheads. It's just you could take up to 3 of everything within your points limit. Have fun. Which means I'm no longer losing 6 CP for bringing my white scars.
If CP or even
if CP, they're still doing strats. They're still doing strats.
But maybe CP, you don't need CP to do strats. Say you're allowed to do 1 strat a turn every turn, 5 turns. There you go.
I think that'd be more like heresy, wouldn't it? Like, you can do an X amount of reactions, because they said they were going to lean into reactions a lot more, which I like because it means you're constantly playing.
Yeah. So that's good. I hope that there is some tighter rules for maybe there will be a force org for the competitive bunnies out there for them to scratch that itch. Because if it is too loose, what they'll do is they'll turn around and say, oh, you're only allowed 2 flyers in this edition. Why am I only allowed 2 flyers if I am not going to a tournament or never will? Why can't I bring my Valkyrie assault wing with my Elysian drop troops coming out? That sounds like
something I said when I said.
Exactly. Because what we found also all the way through 9th edition was there were many restrictions put upon army selection and faction selection and things like that to balance the game for the competitive scene, which had an impact on everyone else who didn't give a crap about the competitive scene. And let's face it, the number of people who play 40k, if it's this much, the number of people who play 40k at tournaments is a subset of the overall number of people at 40. Surely the people who play 40k should be catered to more than the people who go to tournaments, but the people who go to tournaments can be catered to as well. I don't think it's a one or the other. It can be a t'other. It could be a t'other. There could be a match play book which you go to your local games workshop for, and spend £1,000 and cut out a kidney, and you write like, I am falling to chaos on a thing, in blood on the thing, and then you're allowed to go to tournaments and cheat all the time, which all tournament players do all the time, right? That's what the internet tells me.
That's what the internet apparently tells you. Okay.
And the internet doesn't lie. The
well, this is all speculation.
Australia isn't real. It's told me that the Earth is flat and that we're ringed by a wall of ice and that we're actually going upwards through the galaxy at 160 odd miles. And you know, things fall down. What's terminal velocity? 160, 170,
128 miles an hour.
Well, there we go. Apparently, there's no such thing as gravity. What it is the Earth is going up through space at 120 odd miles an hour. So things don't fall down, we're just catching up with it.
Good.
See, the internet, it never lies.
So speaking of the internet, so yes. we're definitely in the realms of speculation.
We answered the question.
We did. I don't think we did, but I think I have no idea what we just did. But
we answered the question. It's like, what are you looking forward to 10th edition?
It's like, yeah, just... Ugh.
And we said reset. Reset is good. Reset. Any more questions?
Yeah, here's a good one.
Okay.
10th edition, 7th edition. When are we getting a Winter's branded saucy calendar?
Winter's branded saucy calendar they're destined to come out in 2050. So save your pennies up for it. It'll only be £1 million each, limited edition. 2050, Winter's only branded calendar.
87 years old.
The new objective markers and deployment tokens and things like that, they're all coming.
Good.
The dice are about a year out.
Oh.
There is. I keep forgetting to wear my merch. Someone actually,
I'm wearing your merch.
Huh? That's
it's
a
not
penguin.
Yeah.
I do like penguins.
Yeah, it's not your merch though. Look, if you just shift to the right ever so slightly, you've got a little Winter's logo in the bottom right of the screen.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah. And then just on your shirt.
I just burped. Right,
Good.
what are we doing? Say hi, Paul's in his house. Hi, Paul. Hi. The Screamer Killer looked like a Screamer Killer. I'm in love. Yeah, it did look like a normal Screamer Killer. 10th edition, it's meant... Oh, we did that one. Did you forget that pigeons are CIA drones winters? Yeah, did you know that as well? That the pandemic was a lie. And what they needed to do is get everyone indoors so they could change all the batteries on the birds.
Well, yeah, that's something actually. Now it's out in the open. Yeah, that's what I was doing in the pandemic. So I said I was in the RAF or whatever, but it's not true. I was actually just driving up to the Midlands to change the batteries. That was my sector.
And all the pigeons. Yeah.
I couldn't keep it in.
The full winters is the calendar. Penguins rule. See Mikey P. Mikey P's in the house as well. Birds aren't real, says Mikey P. I think vehicles and dreads will be more important. Winters, do you like the idea of datasheet cards? Makes keeping info
they did
on
look
hand
like cards, didn't
very
they?
simple.
They look like the way it was presented, that Termagant datasheet looked like it was a big A5 flash card.
See, here's a way. Like you said, hey, imagine if the codexes came out without any rules in.
But you could buy packs of cards instead.
Yeah, imagine the codex came out and at the back, like cellophane on the back, like the tokens that you used to get for Genius to Corps and this, that and the other, and cellophane on the back are all the cards.
That'd be cool.
The only way to get all the cards is to get the codex, and then you got your cards.
Well, that and you just take the cards you need, and if there's a mini A5, because they said all your army rules will fit on one page as well.
Did they?
That's what they said in the little video. They
all
did
the army pages.
They said your data sheets will be no more than a page, or be half a page.
Right.
And your army rules will fit on one page. If you could have a one-page your army rules at A5 size or A4 size, and then loads of A5 cards, you just take what you need with you, and you don't even have to take the book.
Seems fantastic to me. And like I said, you don't need to bake complexity in at that level. You can play open play, match play. If you wanted to play something more complex. At the mission level, you could add secondaries and actions and all those sorts of things to make it as complex as you want to make it. It doesn't necessarily have to be baked into the rules. So I like the idea of cards because you could also fan yourself on a very hot day.
Yeah.
And the room next door gets extremely hot in the summertime.
It does.
It does.
That's only because we're in there.
I mean, normally, it's the same with Mikey P. Say hi, Paul. A bunch of these guys have been in there sweating away. But imagine... Instead of sweating away in there and blowing each other off,
we could whip out some cards.
Yeah. Fan each other
and then you
down.
go strength 4.
Yeah.
Even though strength seems to be gone on that data sheet, it's in the weapon instead.
I like that.
Which is cool. It's easy. It's just strength 4. So that's not strength user, and you have to go. Okay, what's the Space Marine strength for? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Oh, it's actually strength +1. It's like just strength 6 for strength 5 per power sword. Done.
Strength +1 or strength ×2 +1. What does that mean?
Yeah.
No, it's in there. Check the thing.
Yeah.
There.
Thunderhammer is always strength 8.
Is
cool.
it?
No, it's like, for
Say
example...
a human wields it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So Thunderhammer is now strength 6. And they just put it on that data sheet for that person.
Say an Ogren wields it.
That would be strength 10 then.
Yeah?
Yeah, well, based on the current rules, yeah.
Ogren Thunderhammers coming to 10th edition.
Oh.
a reveal by Salt and Plays from Salt and Plays YouTube channel. Check out Salt and Plays YouTube channel. Say hi, Paul. Cards are one of the best things about AOS. I'm overjoyed at the thought of cards for 40k. That was totally on my wish list. Check out Say Hi Paul's YouTube channel.
You can click on him now.
Yeah.
Well, this was they'd leave the stream if they did that, but
well, no. Well, I don't mind. Go and click on Say Hi Paul. He's a legend in the gaming community. Yeah, I don't know why people like AOS.
I like it.
Why?
Because it's easy.
But there aren't any guns.
There are bows and arrows.
They're not guns.
There are guns too. The dwarves have guns.
How hard? So if you've got a race in AOS,
You're taking us to a racial place. Okay.
no, like goblins or
So you just pull out the card.
or the water ones or the other goblins.
Yeah.
See, if they wanted to nuke a planet from orbit because it's the only way to be sure, how would they go about doing that?
Magic.
We got magic in 40k. We got space Jedi
Yeah,
running around.
their
all over the
magic's
place.
more powerful though.
What?
Apparently.
More powerful. Sultan, may I introduce you to our Lord and Savior, the God Emperor of Mankind?
Yeah, but like the god, if the God Emperor with his level, let's say he didn't have the Exterminatus stuff, because he is in 40k and he does have that. If he doesn't have all that and he goes to AOS, he'd be a mid-level guy in terms of psychic stuff.
Did you just call the Emperor of Mankind mid?
In another game system?
Mid-tier.
Yeah, another game. It's like when someone says, "I showed off my 40k army for Salamanders the other day," and someone's like, "Where's Vulcan?" It's like he's in another game system. Like it doesn't matter where he is.
How many Space Marine armies do you have right now?
8.
And you're calling the Emperor of Mankind the father of the Space Marines?
Yeah, mid.
Mid.
Yeah. Well, in 40k lore, he's dead, and then in AOS, he's not.
He's not dead. He's having a lie down. Building an empire and conquering the entire galaxy in 200 years is very exhausting. You know?
Yeah, and on the 200th year, he's had a rest.
Yeah. On the first day, he made the heavens, and on the 200th day, he had a nap. And he's checked inside. He's doing Netflix and eating popcorn and things like that.
There we go. Look, Scott Ross, 40k Emperor equals AOS extra medium spell guy.
Well, Scott Ross, you're wrong. Because I know nothing about AOS, so I can say that with confidence.
Yeah, you can probably say that. Right, there was someone asked earlier, I forget who, sorry I've forgotten your name. What do you think about, I don't really give a shit, but what do you think about the new Termagant sculpt?
What do I think about the new Termagant?
Because you actually play Nids, whereas they're just a Xenos scum to me.
Well, of all the things that they needed to sculpt in the Tyranid book, maybe the ones in Finecast could have got a look in first, like the Lictor and
They'll be
like
coming.
that.
They just showed off the easy one, right?
Yeah.
They just showed off a baseline unit, which everyone will have 20, 30 of.
Yeah, so the new Termagant sculpt looked bigger. Everything's looking bigger. I wouldn't have minded if it had stayed. It was fine. That was mid. The new Termagant sculpt, mid.
Just like the Emperor.
No.
In AOS, though,
And
but in 40k he's good.
We're going to have Shrikes. We're going to have these new brain bugs coming in and stuff and things.
Those Space Marines got rinsed in that trailer.
It's good, isn't it?
I liked it, yeah.
It's like they knew that Space Marine 2 was coming soon, so let's have Space Marines and Tyranids together.
Yeah.
I wonder if they got the same people who did the video games to do that trailer.
Maybe.
Because it looks like,
Maybe.
Here's the thing. 10th edition drops end of May, beginning of June. Everyone jumps on the hype train. There's so many people hyped up for this. Even Chapter Master Wankrack, whatever his name is, forget him. He's pretty hyped for it. That yellow guy from the north of England.
Yeah.
Talks funny. Has a limp, webbed toes. Him. He's even hyped for it. He's put one or two videos
strong hand.
on strong hand. He's put one or two videos on YouTube about it. He hasn't really banged about it very much, but he is a little.
He
bit
hasn't
hyped
mentioned much about.
He's never mentioned
Imperial
Primarchs
Fists or
before.
Primarchs,
No, so he's got excited about it. Loads of people in the Discord are very excited about coming back into the game. There's even one of the SEOs who hasn't played since 8th edition who's interested in restarting the game when 10th edition comes out. And we have this resurgence. We have this great flood, and then Space Marine 2 drops.
I see what you did there. Great Flood Tyranids, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Space Marine 2 drops, and then the hype, and then we get Emperor's Children, and then we get Eldar Exodites, we get elves riding dragons in space with laser beams strapped to their heads. Then we get Codex Carnivore Penguins come out, and then next year Eisenhorn series comes out, and then the year after that Henry Cavill is playing Constantine Valdor, and it's just, I feel like there's a big new. I feel like there's floods of geekness about to flood the webs.
I really like the Terminators.
Talk about the Terminators.
I did.
Okay.
They're cool. They're just chunkied up. They're the right size.
Can you put Primaris in them?
Apparently.
Can you put normal Marines in them?
Apparently.
So a Terminator is a Terminator, regardless of whether
it's the armour that makes them chonk, yeah.
I mean, are they going
Well, to be fair, Terminator armour was always personalised to the wearer anyway, wasn't it? That was part of it.
Well, yeah.
When you
let's
become
say
a
yes.
veteran, you were sized up for the... Well, it depends on which book codex you're reading, doesn't it, I guess? But
Terminator armour normally is extremely rare.
yeah.
And no, you fit in it or you don't.
Well, I thought like the internals could be messed
Yeah,
around
they
with
can-
and
they
stuff.
can-
So they
they
could
can-
like, you know, I mean, a foot difference is a big thing.
A
but...
bit of foot difference is a big
Yeah.
thing. But I think the growth process in Space Marines ensures that they're all roughly the same height, maybe.
I'm hoping if this means that all all Marines can embark in Terminator armor, that means that all Marines can embark in drop pods or in just any vehicle. Because I was saying this to you the other day. Just envisage the following: you've got a solid shot projectile weapon being fired from orbit,
Right.
at hundreds of miles per hour.
Okay.
It goes hurtling through the atmosphere, catches fire on the way down and re-entry,
Yes.
slams into the earth with the force of several cars crashing,
Yes.
doors pop off, and then a bunch of lads with swords and shields come running out. How epic is that's the most 40k thing I can think of. Just some guys covered in parchment and skulls holding swords and shields come walking out of something that's just been fired from orbit.
Swords and shields.
Yeah, Blade Guard.
Blade
yeah.
Guard. You
Yeah,
think you
yeah.
need Blade
I want
Guard?
a drop pod 10 Blade Guard into the midst of a melee, just to go and have a fight.
Well, if the rumours from Chapter Master Val Spank are to be believed, then all the keywords have gone. In that datasheet they showed you of the little bug, did it have any data? Did it
Yeah,
have
it had a
any
few
keywords
little
in
bits.
it?
Like next to the weapons, it had like twin linked, which I really liked.
Ooh.
Because that made it seem to me that they're going
Ooh.
back to a simple universal
USR.
keywords.
Yeah.
So for those who don't know, Heresy and older editions of the game had one word. I don't know if you already explained this to the stream many times.
No,
but
go for it.
They're like one word. So right now you've got, let's say, reroll hits on a weapon. And for Space Marines, it might be called, these aren't the right words, but like Omnispecs. And then
How
for
about-
AdMech, it'll be called like Servo Skull.
How about Wisdom of the Ancients?
Yes, reroll ones. But yeah,
Yeah.
So it's just loads of
And then
different
the
rules
captain
with
is
different.
this,
They
and
all
then
do the
someone
same
else is
thing.
that, and
Rights
then
of war,
someone
all that.
yeah.
It all does the same thing, but they all have different names based on what model you're using, or what codex you're using, or what type of model within that codex you're using.
Yeah.
Heresy
Yeah.
and the older editions just called it one thing. So, for example, reroll hits when shooting is twin linked. The weapon is twin linked. Yes, it doesn't make sense when you're referring to a termagant firing a gun and it says twin linked. It's like, okay, well, why is his gun twin linked? He doesn't have optics. It's like, yes, but the word means reroll hits. So they've done that, and that seems really simple.
Yeah, there's about 78 different words for transhuman physiology.
Yeah.
Hi Luton. Luton is in the chat as well. So we've got Luton, say hi Paul, loads of OGs, people sounding pretty positive about it then. Yes, Luton. So my Discord has been absolutely popping today. People are overjoyed with the idea of a refresh, 10th edition refresh. Because as I said, the problem wasn't the core rules, the problem were the codexes were so unwieldy. So everything coming out free, online, at time of launch, datasheets, PDFs, everything means that everyone can start playing with their collection straight away. It means it's as accessible as it can be. It's almost like Games Workshop saw the success of 8th, saw the whoopee cushion that was 9th, and thought, how do we do 8th again? I know, Primark. The galaxy's going to get ripped into quarters now. We're going to have the Sixtrix Maledictum. And
There's
now we're
one
gonna,
giant pizza cutter
Yeah.
coming through the galaxy for a second time
And we have
in
our
the form of Hive Fleet whatever.
First super chat of the evening. Penmont, so happy with the new edition. Amazing stuff. What are your thoughts on the new AOS releases? I love them, especially those new free guild cards. Yeah, my thoughts on the new AOS releases are... AOS is terrible. It's a terrible game system, and you should never play it. It doesn't have any guns or hand grenades in it.
I caught a big one. You caught a
can't
big one. Well
go
done.
to distant star systems. The law is you can't see. The thing is, you can destroy a galaxy, and then everybody in it is dead. If you destroy a realm in AOS, there's a million more. It doesn't have any stakes because it doesn't have a frame which borders the cosmos. So when you have a frameless, infinite cosmos, then what? They've already killed. AOS is terrible. Stay away from AOS. Get into Warhammer 40k. It's where the cool kids hang. Those are my thoughts on it. Do you have any thoughts on the new free guild guard, whoever the crap they are?
I didn't look at them.
I'm more excited for Old World. Warhammer Old World has got my nipples tingling, and I think I would, depending on the game system that it turns out to be, I might all three of them. I might launch into Warhammer 40 Fantasy Old World instead. That has a frame, that has a sense of depth, a sense of history, a sense of purpose, a sense of place. Don't play AOS. Why do people play AOS?
Okay, so I got to answer Sanguinary Guard. It says, Sultan, you're my Blood Angel's wise man.
Yeah.
I'm not. Is it a bad idea to have 3 Death Company Dreadnoughts running out of drop pods in turn 1? No. I'll tell you what is a bad idea. It's when you have to design each other's lists.
Oh.
And you design a list for Winters. And you give them a Dreadnought drop pod that has nothing inside.
What?
Do you remember we went to Mini War Game? We played a little game.
Oh yeah.
And I designed your list, and I gave you a Devastator squad with no heavy weapons.
Yeah, we designed.
And the idea was to make a worst list possible. So it was a Devastator squad with no heavy weapons.
Yeah.
And it was a Dreadnought drop pod with no Dreadnought.
Yeah, and for those that don't know, a Dreadnought drop pod can carry a Dreadnought, and it has no guns. And it can't move. So you put it down on the table.
You got Line Breaker then.
And essentially...
I also gave you your Warlord was a Tech Marine who had the ability to make people scared.
Yeah.
he was like fearsome leader. He removed one leadership from everyone around him.
Yeah.
Which is this poor little Tech Marine with nothing to repair.
I'm glad you still find that all very funny.
It was good. Like, what was the chapter trait? Preferred enemy orcs. No orcs on the table.
Preferred enemy, another USR from older than 8th edition. Preferred enemy means this. So say in the new 10th edition, right? 10th edition, and some units are preferred enemy, some units don't have preferred enemy. Preferred enemy means you reroll hit rolls of 1 and reroll wound rolls of 1 against your preferred enemy. So you'd have preferred enemy orcs, preferred enemy Imperium, preferred enemy this, preferred... It means reroll hit rolls and wound rolls of 1.
It'd be good for all simple Imperial armies to have that against, like, apart from like Crimson Fist, for example, to have it against orcs, but like a lot of Imperial armies have it against Chaos. Their preferred enemy is the Heretic. And the Heretic, likewise, Death to the False Empress kind of thing. We prefer the Imperium.
Yeah, well, they didn't have it before. You might have, for example, Crimson Fists have preferred enemy orcs.
I guess where there's a law precedent.
Yeah. Black Templars might have preferred enemy Chaos, but not Ultramarines. Not
To be honest, they seem to be leaning Black Templars orcs these days. So lots of dead orcs on the bases from Armageddon.
Another donation. Thank you so much. Hope Battle Line works like in AOS, where HQ affects that unit's count as troops. Holding out for Chaos Jump Lord release to let me use Raptors as troops.
I see what you're saying.
In Night Lords.
So basically saying if you bring a Warlord of a certain type, it makes certain units troops. Like in Heresy, where you bring a certain detachment, you can have like the jet bikes as troops for White Scars.
Yeah.
If you bring a jump pack captain in its equivalent, or Chaos Jump Lord, he can make jump pack troops. Jump pack guys troops.
You used to have that. A biker would make bikes things.
Yeah, that would be cool. I think that'd be cool. Again, AOS seems to be like the test bed for a lot of what they do at 40k. From the rules and how the cards work and how they seem to be pushing 10th.
Well, I would definitely say that in the old days AOS was a test bed, but now the two departments work. There used to be a rules writing department.
Yeah, now it's multiple, right?
And that's 8th, before 8th. Now there's 3. There's 40k rules writing department, AOS rules, right, and then specialist games. Everyone else.
Yeah. And they've lumped Heresy in with that. That's a lot of...
Yeah. I know. Yeah. So, is AOS a testbed for 40k?
Perhaps once. But you can see a lot of similarities. We were chatting today in your Discord and through WhatsApp as well about how a lot of the data sheets look quite similar in some ways.
What data sheets? Where?
The data sheets they reveal for the Termagant.
Right.
They look very similar to the data sheets in AOS. And that's what Paul was saying earlier. They're like cards. They look very similar.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just like they clearly learned from AOS and go, okay, cool, we're going to use a similar styling.
Yeah. Well, there's obviously some overlap there. I mean, Horus Heresy weapon skill, but there's obviously going to be...
By the way, it's the same company, right? So, yeah.
How do you feel about change to Psychic Phase?
What?
I don't know about the change to Psychic Phase. I didn't study that. You tell me about the change to the Psychic Phase.
Is the change to the Psychic Phase that,
isn't that the
Space Marine Librarian
phase,
just dies?
I think what I've heard is that there isn't a Psychic Phase anymore. There's a command phase or a hero phase or a something phase at the beginning.
You just do it all at once.
And you do it then.
I like the idea of it doing before you move.
Okay.
Oh wait, no, I don't. No, I don't. Actually, disregard. No, I don't like that at all. It's the same thing with litanies. Like if my blade guard are inside a tank ready to get out, and my chaplain's in there with them, because it's the command phases before the movement phase. My chaplain couldn't tell them in the tank. All right, lads, go and re-roll hits. Yeah.
Yeah, we're getting out of the tank in a minute, and we're gonna go crazy into those dudes and
instead they're just like sitting there listening to elevator music, and then they get out and they're like, ooh, and the chaplain's like, ah. Darn.
And then he remembers to shout. Then he raises his Crozius on high and says, smite the things, and then they sort of warm up
Reap
to it.
ye effing reaper man. Yeah.
Oh. Because he's not gonna warm them up while they're in the transport, the drop pod or whatever it is he?
Oh, so someone's saying here, Legio Panda says, again, this is the internet, I don't know what's right and what's wrong, but the psychic powers are going to be on the data sheet and they will say when they get used. At least that's what I understood.
Okay.
Yeah, so another one, Mike Walker agrees, used in appropriate phases, so go for shooting, command, charge, whatever. Okay.
So the psychic powers will be like a weapon on the day. This is how they work in Horus Heresy as well. There is no psychic phase in Horus Heresy. If you have psychic abilities, they happen wherever they happen, the one that you pick. So it's going to be on their sheet, and then you're going to be able to use it as and when, command, charge, things like that. That sounds simpler.
Yeah,
I mean, when do you use the gun? You use it in the shooting phase. When is he hitting with his Thunderhammer? Using that phase. When is the psychic thing happening? It's before the character moves. Roll the dice.
Some of them will probably be command phase because they last a turn.
Some of them will be when this character takes a shot, it gets hit. Roll a thing, and if you pass, then you get an invulnerable.
So like warding or something. He's like, okay, go see if he gets an invuln, and he just pushes it up. Yeah, in your opponent's shooting phase, do this.
It sounds like it could get complicated very quickly.
It could, or it could be just this is the data sheet. This is when you use it, and it's reactions, and maybe you have to spend a reaction to do them or something in the ones that are reactive. Or we're completely speculating.
Well, speculate some more. I like it. It worked like that in 3rd through to 6th. Yeah, it did. It just happened when it happened. I think the psychic phase will move partly. I can't read. See, my eyes. I think the psychic phase will partly move to command and partly shooting. I personally cast Smite about 10 minutes after my breakfast cup of tea. People are making jokes. That was funny.
If it had been coffee, you probably would have got it faster. Yeah.
And up there, I like that when people say there is no psychic phase. It just immediately I think of the Matrix. There is no spoon. There is no spoon. So psychic phase happens when the psychic phase goes off. The edition will have the rules online and the data sheets online and everything to get everyone playing straight away. And there is definitely, the closer we get to the edition, the more and more people, because we get messages, we're in a circle. We're in the Winters SEO Discord, which you can join by becoming at least a Tier 2 channel member. Tier 3, although, unlocks all the videos as well, and it's been really active in the last 24 hours, and I can all the chatter about it. I also get messages from people, also the WhatsApp groups here. There's chatter this time around. I can't remember this amount of chatter when 9th dropped. Mind you, that was the middle of a pandemic, wasn't it?
Yeah, people were trying to breathe.
I couldn't remember. I don't know if there was this much chat before 8th edition.
Well, no, 8th was the watermark, or 8th was the
what?
Whatever word I'm going to use here, the insert adjective or whatever here. 8th or noun. Insert noun here.
Brick.
Yes.
Lemon.
8th was the brick lemon, and that's where everyone got in.
Right.
Because I only joined, because 8th started in 2017, and I only started in 2018. And my first games were in 2019.
Right.
And then 2020 is when 9th came along. So there was still loads of hype around 9th.
Okay.
And then everyone who jumped in sort of just before 9th started or just after, because 9th was actually in a good place for the first year.
I feel like there wasn't that much hype for 9th though. I felt
a lot of hype for 9th.
Did you? Well,
yeah, in the old Discord, yeah.
It just
because Indomitus, remember? And then everyone was like, "Wow, these Blade Guard and the bikes."
Yeah, but I remember a couple of moans in the run up to 9th edition as well.
People saying, hobby do you think you're in? Everyone's moaning all the time. No. One guy said he thought the Lion looked too old. He's 10,000.
Yeah, but no, what? I thought the Lion looked... What? Mike Walker, thank you for joining the 13th at tier 3. See, it works. You mention the tier things and get extra videos and stuff, and people join. It's amazing. Unreasonable hate for AOS. Me? Unreasonable hate for AOS? Where'd you get that idea from? I'll use the end and the death as a coaster for this. In serious note, I love your channel. You're genuine and inspired me through my own mental health struggles. I'm sorry to hear that you've had mental health struggles. And thank you for your donation.
My name's Sultan.
Unreasonable hate for AOS because I don't really have unreasonable hate for anyone. What I have got is unreasonable meh. I recall the story for those in the chat that haven't heard it before. Me and a bunch of mates, the SEOs, went up to Games Workshop last year with money in our wallet. We went up with proper Wonga. Brought our 40k armies up. The idea was to play 40k, spend lots of dosh, have the beer at Bugman's, all that sort of stuff.
Stop doing that on stream.
What?
The beer on Bugman's. Clip it, ship it.
Go up to the hall and look at the AOS stuff and buy 4 AOS armies.
If that's not a gift by the end of the day.
And we did what? Us eating from Bugman's.
Yeah.
And we didn't walk out. Not one of us bought an army. In fact, some of us bought more 40k.
But, and this is the thing, you are lame.
Huh?
Is
that like some millennial generation?
You know what
Z
lame means?
Thing?
That's like from when you were born. Being lame.
You mean like lame, like the Americans say,
yeah.
oh, lame.
Yeah, you're lame. You're dull.
Thanks.
There was hurt there. I'm sorry. You guys didn't see it, but there was a real
just shades
twitch in his eyes.
Read out the next one.
What, this one?
Yes.
Your channel.
And say thank you.
So
because it's the thing.
Barry Hercules.
Thank you, Barry Hercules. I bet that's not his real name. Imagine if your second name was Hercules, Sultan Hercules. You'd definitely, if my last name was like Winters Hercules, I'd definitely be a wrestler or a boxer or a movie star or something like that with a name like Hercules as your second name. That is an epic second name. Well done, Barry. Love your parents. Great second name.
I'm going to read his thing now.
Okay.
Your channel got me into bat raps and rekindled my love of GW. Keep being a positive force for other folk. Hope the revels. I'm presuming it could be revels or reveals because we are reveling in the reveals. Yeah. Gave you a boost. I hope they gave you a boost.
They gave me a boost. I'm excited for 10th
I went up
edition.
2 subs.
I don't know anyone who's got a love for Games Workshop.
I think they're all right. They're trying.
I mean, I love 40k and I love the IP and I love the lore. I can't say that I have a love for Games Workshop. There are some
good people in Games Workshop.
There are some good people in. But as an entity, it's a multi-billion-dollar company.
as a tentacled conglomerate
that seeks to deliver better profitability for its shareholders. Do you think 10th edition will be profitable?
Yes.
Are you
if it's as simple as they think? Yes.
Are you buying shares in Games Workshop?
No. Technically, I am. I'm buying them.
This is not financial advice, but the shares in Games Workshop after 8th dropped went up like 10, 20 times. I think the share value was worth, say the share value was worth like 100. In a year's time, it was worth like 1,000.
It was something silly, like it was worth like £18 and it ended up being like almost £200.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's not necessarily going to happen because Games Workshop are a known entity. Not that they weren't before, but they're a very much known entity these days, given how much third-party IP they're pushing out.
Yeah.
So they've got Amazon working with them to make a show. They've got the Eisenhorn thing in the background. They've got video games, more. They've always had video games, but higher budget, more video game stuff coming out, like Dark Tide. You've got, I know Hired Gun wasn't incredible, but Hired Gun came out. You've got Space Marine 2 coming out. It's not going to jump the same way. But I don't know anything about monies because I use my monies on plastic.
We all use our
money. Trade the monies for the plastic, and then the plastic isn't worth as much as the monies I paid.
What have you painted recently?
Some heavy intercessors today, and then I kit bashed a thing for a video for my channel that's coming out tomorrow, but I didn't get a chance to paint it.
Right.
And then I painted a thing for you. Well, for your channel.
Ah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you keep it, right?
It's on a little shelf.
Yeah. Yeah.
I very much like it.
I finished Soul Tarvets today, and I'm working on the Palatine Blades. I know they don't look finished, but these are actually finished, except for the bases.
I like that one with his pose.
What?
Bring him out.
This one?
No.
What,
that is cool.
One?
No, this one.
That isn't even. He's half done. The other two that I picked up were.
But it's the pose, or is the bit? That's the wrong way. GW do seem to... Oh, he's got a little wobbly sword.
Yeah,
GW do seem to like the old walk forward with sword pose.
That's Brother
Sultan.
Captain Soltarvitz, the first loyalist, died.
Ian Horrocks says, welcome to the 13th.
Ian Horrocks, thank you for becoming... Anyway, people do this. They hold the hand up and they do that.
It's because my face is in it. You've got to move that way.
And it zooms in. But when I hold my hand up...
to tap it like a touchscreen there. Focus.
And it won't...
Let me have a go.
It's impossible, Sultan. It can't be done. Just give up.
Well, it might be because your focal...
In the words
I'm not going to even explain it. I'm not even
going
to explain it to you. Oh, there's your...
In the words of Homer Simpson, if at first you don't succeed, just give up. Oh, you made it zoom in.
If at first you don't succeed, use Sam. I'm trying to...
Give up.
My face. Look at this.
Ian Horrocks, thank you.
Look at him. He's so angry.
There
you go.
Oh, he's the first loyalist. He's lovely. So personally, I'm big with the heresy right now. Barry Hercules, you generally wouldn't believe how easy family law is to abuse with zero consequences. Whoa. I don't know what that's about.
Are they talking about us?
I don't know. Are we abusing? Any word on the dark? Oh, we got a thing. Okay. Nathan W., thank you for your donation. Recently, with the Arks of Omen lore, I added some sisters, Repentia, and Assault Intercessors to my World Eaters army because of the big corn corruption fluff. You all, and say hi, Paul, are inspiring. Well, thank you very much for your donation.
Chaos Primaris. What?
What?
Read that one.
I hope you're paying Sultan. He does a lot for this channel. Love you, Sultan.
I love you too. He's not paying me. He pays me in plastic sometimes for videos.
Yes. I
paint this for a video and then you may have it. Thanks.
I pay Sultan absolutely zero. But every now and then, though, when it's really hot in the summertime and he wants cooling off, sometimes we might go to the local lake together and frolic around in the lake. And if I find anything exciting like buried treasure or things like that under the muddy, silty surface of the lake, I always give them to Sultan first. The lake down the thing, the Stray.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about the Stray.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I forget the name of it.
Yeah, the Stray.
Oh, right. No, you're literally talking... Okay.
Yeah.
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 I thought you were talking about like some kind of cat that you found.
I also pay him... You've got to remember as well that Sultan gets to... How can I put this without coming across? Because you guys know that I'm a humble sort of person. I mean, I won this trophy once at this event and I don't think I've ever mentioned it at all. So, but I did win the 2021 No Retreat Legend of Legends trophy.
It was a gaggle of rancid... Never mind, I'm joking.
And so I'm trying to be humble. So I don't know how to put this across without breaking my humble streak. But you have to remember that Sultan doesn't need payment because he gets to hang out with me. He gets to bask. He gets to orbit this sun. This burning hot ball of gas.
Well, you can see that all the light is on you, and I'm just sat in the dark over here.
Do you want some more?
No, I don't. Look up here. That's the computer. The computer doesn't need light.
And then we could do that. I mean, it was like that beforehand, but I mean,
I'm just so pale. I don't need it. Look, my cheeks are gone a bit red. Look.
And you're orbiting my thing, right?
You what?
He's sucked into my gravity well, and he's enjoying every moment of it. I think that's what happened, and I enjoy. Most of the time I hang out with Sultan too, most of the time. Yeah, he's okay. And he does he's getting better at 40k as well. We did this combat school thing.
Yeah, it's like 2 years ago now.
Yeah.
It's like 2 years ago now.
We're going to need to do something like that for 10th, particularly with the new rules and
Here we go. Let's let chat inspire us. Give us an idea of what armies, preferably ones we own, you would like to see in combat school. Give us an idea. We did Space Marine, we did Blood Angels versus the 13th, and I'm happy to do Space Marines again, but there are other armies.
It's a new edition.
It is a new edition.
It could be...
New
it
edition.
should really be Space Marines again, shouldn't it?
I suppose so, yeah.
Because then most people have Space Marines.
Yeah, true.
And then showing different ways of playing with Space Marines.
Okay, well, clearly you've got like one Space Marine army. Grey Knights are a Space Marine army, but a bit different. Yeah. But okay, so the 13th versus... Choose, if you know my armies, choose one of the armies that I own.
I don't even know all your armies.
I don't. All right, there's some chatty stuff going on. Can't you pay Sultan the trophy? I don't want it. Do you know where he puts that trophy?
Look, the Nightbot is working.
Sultan inspires me to play Pokemon with Space Marine chapters. Got to catch them all. You do have.
You
to
were
catch
talking
them all.
about your Tamagotchi earlier on.
No, the lads in the chat were, and then I
you,
just said
you
that,
killed it because you forgot to.
Well, I was like 6.
Oh.
Yeah, so like I just forgot to feed it. Anyway, now I have a dog.
I missed the whole Tamagotchi phase. I
Well,
was about
probably by about 20 years, right?
Yeah, I mean, I was about 30 or something.
Yeah.
When the I don't know.
Yeah, I'd argue. Well, to be fair, like Mikey must have been like 20, so I'm not sure what he was doing with the Tamagotchi. There we go.
Often I see Mikey playing with very small things, and I wonder what he's doing with them.
Yeah.
Very small things that most people would need a microscope to find. See, I'd made a penis joke.
Good.
Okay.
Good.
Say hi, Paul has been a member for 8 months. Tier 3. Why, Paul? Stop giving me some of you.
The technochemical elves. Oh, he wants to see the Drakari.
Oh, right.
They are technochemical elves.
Isn't it?
I'm not very good with them.
No. And also, you don't have to be... Paul, keep your money, mate, please. You know,
you
use
say
it
that to me.
No, you can.
Yeah.
Yeah. Technochemical elves. Can't wait for some 10th narrative games on land and on hulks. Exactly. The game we're going to be doing next week is going to be on a hulk.
Excuse me.
We were going to play this
tea
evening,
and no dinner.
I think the last couple of weeks in a row since you got your new job, you tend to come round in the evening and we play a game. And most of them we haven't filmed. But I've actually, as you can see by my calendar, this week was a bit of a mess, moving one way to another. It's all a bit of a fustermuck.
There's a big old scratch through my name.
Yeah, it's all a bit of a fustermuck. So this week I didn't know whether I was playing tomorrow and things like that. So today...
That'd be a cool one for the release of the edition.
What?
Space Marine v Tyranids, just like the box. You know?
Space Marines vs Tyranids, we could do that.
Yeah. I mean, the box set... Let's talk about the box set.
Let's talk about the box set.
So
tell the people what's in the box set.
For anyone who doesn't know, because I've seen a few people commenting in the chat, everything that's ever in a Games Workshop cinematic is going to be a model, if it isn't already.
Yes.
So everything you saw in the cinematic, so the Redemptor with the double las cannon and the missile, that's going to be a model.
But is it in the box set?
Last time, I can only speak from my experience with Ninth, last time everything that was in that trailer was in the box set. But barring the Sisters of Battle.
So what you're saying is everything that was in the trailer wasn't in the...
Yeah, that's the problem. But the Sisters of Battle model existed.
Yeah. So
I'm whether it's in the box set or not, it's kind of like to the side. But everything in that trailer will be a model, is the key bit of information.
Right.
So,
but what's in the box set?
If I had to guess, based on the fact they only showed 2 factions this time, it's going to be the Dreadnought with the las cannon and the missiles. It's probably going to be a squad of what look like Stern Guard. They look like Primaris Stern Guard to me. They had combi weapons.
Chapter Master Spam Spank thinks that it's going to be Tyranids versus Space Marines in the box set. It's always Space Marines in the box set, isn't it?
Welcome to the room.
Yeah.
Of course it's going to be Tyranids v Space Marines.
Yeah.
It's the trailer.
Yeah.
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 I just had
so there's going to be some Terminators as well.
I just had a revelation.
Yeah. There you go.
Well, maybe
it looks like there's going to be like a Terminator Captain, a Terminator Librarian. And it looked like a Gravis Apothecary.
So you're saying the Lion's in the box set?
No. Well, he wasn't in the trailer.
What do we think about the Lion, people? Hot or not? There's a way to do a poll. I've forgotten how to do it. But you tell me whether you think the Lion
I can give it a go.
is hot or not. Are you going to do technology?
I'll try and do a little poll.
Don't be careful of the buttons. What is that?
Engage, start a poll.
No. Close that. Show me how you did that again.
I pressed the little...
But there was 2 buttons.
So there's a plus.
What's the plus? How do you know the plus?
Start a poll.
Yeah, but how would you know
this is your job, mate. Lion.
Lion is hot.
Smash.
Hot.
Oh, fucking hell. What's right there?
Hot. Just put hot.
No, it's smash or pass. That's how it goes.
Well, but the answer to it says is yes or no to the poll.
No, I can change those.
Oh, what do you mean you can change it? Oh, you can change that too. Thanks for coming around and fixing Nightbot as well. And now all the comments
it's all right, there you go. So, Lion, smash or pass?
Smash or pass? What
does
that mean? Like, take him out for a date, smash him? Is that a good thing? Or
do you know how a battering ram works?
Back and smash him on the head?
You know when you run a battering ram at a castle gate? Not when then you've maybe not specifically done that, but
back
you've
in the
seen
day,
people
when
in
I
movies.
was a lad.
Yeah, when I was a lad, that's how we got around.
Yeah.
No, that's how you went to your friend's house. You used the battering ram, and you also had to invade Lindisfarne. But yeah.
Well,
that's the.
So you mean smash through? So 1 minute. If you're using a battering ram to smash through the Lion's Gate,
Yeah.
does that mean
You're smashing in the Lion's Gate? Yeah.
Does that mean it's good, or does that mean it's bad?
It's good for
smashing
you.
It in?
It's good for you.
I don't understand though. Like, if I don't like a castle, I might use a battering ram to smash in the gate and burn the castle.
Well, that's
down.
a hate
So
smash.
It's a bad thing.
That's a hate smash.
So you haven't. You're telling people like smash or pass.
So far 82%
And I hate,
said
and
smash.
I hate the fact that you made me say pass there, because it's smash or pass.
That's why I say smash or pass.
Yeah, and I just said smash or pass because I was I went all northern
not
there
my
for a
fault you were
moment. I
northern.
lost a few brain cells.
Oof. There's a lot of heat coming off
There's
that.
not a lot left. Yeah, so I don't understand if smash is a good thing or not. I mean, I suppose people in the chat will be able to figure it out.
Yeah.
Lionel Richie, did the Combi Flamer Marines look like... So the Flamers in that look just like the Black Templar flamers,
the
Pyre Blaster.
standalone flamer was a Pyre Blaster. That was the exact same model.
But it wasn't a Black Templar.
It was an Ultramarine Olden.
It was an Ultra...
Black Templars are often a test bed for Space Marines. Back in the past, the Neophytes, the Scouts were a Black Templars thing, and then they became...
Yes.
So it looks like maybe they went, he's a Black Templar with a flamer, and then they went, okay, cool, let's put it in the squad too.
So in the past, you're going all the way back to 3rd edition. Black Templars were...
What year was that?
In 3rd edition. Oh my word. 1990? No, 1 minute. It was in the It was late 90s. It was like 98, 99, 3rd edition, something like that.
Cool. I think I just switched to solid food. Anyway, so Edward Crane, 13th versus Templars is my vote. Question. I want to buy a Space Marine unit to kill Rogue or Dawn tanks. What do you recommend?
To kill Rogue or Dawn tanks, what do you recommend? I want to buy a Space Marine unit.
Yeah. Thunderhammer Terminators. Get them in, charge it. Lock it up.
Negative. I would get a unit of ATVs or multi-motor attack bikes.
Now they miss. They always miss when it's me.
Send them forward. Multi-melters.
Multi-motor attack bikes are better.
Are the best way to kill vehicles that Space Marines have. You can also bring there's big guns that never tire that you can bring, like the Redemptor Vanquisher. There's
do you mean the Gladiator Valiant?
Gladiator Valiant as well.
Gladiator Valiant is an excellent, especially if you're playing you are playing Templars.
The problem
then you get a third multi-motor on top.
A Gladiator Valiant though is it is one vehicle that can get nuked. Because it's got 12 wounds, 2 up save, toughness 8, and once it's gone, it's gone. But if you bring a wing of multi-motor attack bikes...
Bring 3, yeah.
If you have 3 of them, for example, that is actually...
150 points, yeah.
That's actually, 154 points for 12 wounds, or if you brought them as ATVs, how many points is an ATV?
It's like 70 points now.
So
210.
3 of them for 210 points is actually 24
But
wounds.
they don't get to re-roll anything.
So they've got some more... I would go with I rate ATVs and multi-motor attack bikes as some of the most effective anti-tank, cheapest and most effective anti-tank in the Space Marine arsenal. There are other bigger ones, but they're the cheapest and most effective.
Gladiator Valiants are the coolest tank Space Marines have, in my opinion. Especially when you do a Black Templar one. But the most effective is definitely those ATVs. Because when I do my White Scars, I bring 3 ATVs and 3 bikes. Because the bikes can be told to re-roll everything because they're core right now. It'll all go, hopefully. And then ATVs are just, they're cool. They're chunky.
Sanguinary Guard, thank you for being a member for so long. It says tier 2. I'm sure you were tier 3. Tier 1 gets you access to images and stuff. Tier 2 gets you access to my Discord. Tier 3 gets you access to all the additional videos as well. Mind you, there is a good chunk of people who stay at tier 2 because they watch... They don't have enough time to watch more content, but they want to join in.
Do you know,
in the
I'm
community,
tier 3.
So maybe Sanguinary Guard
I'm tier
is one
3
of them.
and it's just because I like you.
Smash that like button. He's reminded, everyone smash the like button. Watch Starship Troopers and me versus Winters when. Oh, and one more thing. Don't do drugs, kids. Well done, Sanguinary Guard. Thank you for your public service announcement.
There we go.
Except coffee and alcohol. New Grey Knight Paladins. Gimme. Yeah, I think it's just a matter of time for Grey Knights to be Primaris-ified.
Or given the makeover treatment, I don't think they'll be Primaris, right? They're just going to be bigger. Like Castellan Crow ain't Primaris, but he's huge.
Yeah. Do you think that we're going to lose the Primaris keyword and Space Marines are just going to be Space Marines going forward?
So either someone was saying that earlier, or maybe you were mentioning that Brap thinks that's the case. But yeah, I think keywords like that might just go.
Yeah.
Because right now you've got so for example, Intercessor is a keyword. That works because it's a squad type.
Yeah.
And it includes heavy intercessors and normal intercessors and assault intercessors. Great, fine. It's like saying Tactical Squad has this keyword.
Yeah.
But yeah, Primaris is literally just about transhuman and stuff at the moment.
Yeah.
And the 6 is auto wound because they got metal in their bones.
And just because you're a Primaris, it doesn't mean that you're bigger than the next guy, because there's 19 different bits of surgery or semi-surgery that goes into
just have
making
3
a
extra,
Space Marine, and they have 3 more.
Yeah.
I'm going to open the window because it's getting hot in here. So take off all your clothes. I am getting so hot. It's time to take my clothes off. It's getting...
Oh, God. This is more than I wanted to see. Jesus. You just lost like 700 people from the chat. You know, you had 1,000 viewers.
Belly.
Okay, I'm going to turn off the poll now because people have clearly...
What is it doing though?
They say smash.
82% say smash the lion. Smash the lion. I do like
117 votes, 82% said smash the lion.
Smash the lion. And I think that means 82 people
they
say
like
that's
him,
crap.
No, that means they like him.
No, but that means you're going to...
Yeah.
You're going to give him a...
It's the same thing as Nightbot, yeah? Just let me do it. Just let me do it, yeah.
And if smash the lion. I mean, if I was smashing a lion, and I wouldn't do that because 1...
It's King of the Jungle.
It's King of the Jungle. And 2, there are no lions around my manor. And if I got older one anyway, it's got big, nasty, sharp, pointy teeth. I wouldn't... But if I were to smash it, then that's bad for the lion, right?
It's pretty bad for everyone involved. I like his mustache. It looks like turn of the century, not the most recent one, but the one prior. British officer.
The lion has got a mustache.
He looks like he's about to go colonise Africa.
Are you going to get him? You don't have Dark Angels yet.
I have a fractious relationship with Dark Angels.
Because...
They get everything.
Basically, most of the Dark Angels you've ever faced in your 40k career are my tournament winning Dark Angels. Because I won this tournament once. I don't think I've mentioned it before. I'm very humble. The 2021 No Retreat Legend of Legends champion. I think most of the Dark Angels you've faced are them, right? Are they? And therefore, it's been bad. It's been hard. It's been an uphill slog for you. Yeah, shall we move on?
Yeah, but I just don't like that they have the best. I mean, it's fine for them to have like the best Terminators, let's say, for a lore reason. But the fact they also have the best bikers, and they also have, you know, all the Dark Age technology, and they also have the X and the Y, and they're also the only character who's in a vehicle who can take a relic. And stuff like that. So that's all 9th edition stuff. And I remember when they were released, they're like, the Raven Wing, I always say this to you, the Raven Wing are the best bikers in the galaxy, and we're sat there with white scars like, huh?
Who said the Raven Wing are the
Games
best?
Workshop did.
What do you mean they said the Raven Wing are the best bikers?
It was in that, I forget, it's burned into my memory. It's like, it literally even said, it had like an asterisk and then it said, sorry White Scars players, down the bottom. And it's like...
How could they say that?
It's
was
like,
it on one of their articles?
Yeah, it was on a
White
Warhammer
Scars, they're
article.
literally born in the saddle. The old rule for them was born in the saddle. On Chirogis, they're on horses, bikes, whatever, and they spend all their life in the shadow.
I don't mind the Deathwing thing. For lore-wise, it's the whole, like, they have the whole initiation process. It's like, it's honoured. If they just had the best Terminators, that's fine. But they also have the best Terminators and the best bikers.
Can we agree on the worst bikers in the galaxy? Shining Spears.
I was going to say Nurglings.
No, but an actual kit that you can get and play with. Nurglings would probably make pretty bad bikers as well.
Would be great on bikes.
But then Nurglings would probably make pretty bad anything, like politicians, donut makers, and cup holders. Nurglings would be bad at all of these things. But the Shining Spears, absolutely terrible bikers. Do you know why? It takes them 10,000 years before they can take the stabilizers off. It's in the lore. You can check it out. It's 10,000, and then after 10,000 years they had stabilizers off, and then they're allowed to hold a thing like that, and they're called Shining Spears. I mean, that doesn't exactly generate.
Do they have shiny spears?
No, I don't think even they have shiny. I wouldn't know because I don't know what a shining spear looks like. But they're the worst bikers in the galaxy. Or yeah, what do you? What?
Terminators on bikes, please.
Terminators on bikes.
I think that's just called a tank.
Tactical dreadnought armor.
It's just like, here's your Terminator on a bike, and it's just a gladiator. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. I don't think that's what. Yeah.
It's like what we were saying earlier. I was like, everyone was like, oh, the lion. And I just went, where the Khan? And where the Khan? And someone was like, just bring him back as a bike. Just like this horrible warp smashed mess of man fused with bike. I just love the idea of that.
Which good guy Primarch do you think is coming next?
I think there's two very good contenders.
Okay.
Russ.
Okay.
And Vulcan.
Okay.
Because Vulcan is just gone somewhere. He was last seen on Ullanor, right?
The War of the Beast, yes.
Yeah, he was last seen, spoilers, on Ullanor. But other than that, it's Russ, because Russ is like, I'll be back when shit goes down. And it's like, shit's been going down for a while now, bro. You're late. Yeah.
He'll be back in the wolf time.
Yeah.
What about the Khan?
I would love the Khan to come back, but hasn't he spent the last 10,000 years getting tortured by sexy space elves?
No, he's maybe he found the Black Library and he's been chilling there, making his way through the bills.
Chilling out with the Laughing God.
Yeah.
Swapping jokes, because they're dudes.
Down there with the Harlequins, reading Raymond E. Feist and Dan Abnett, because it's the
Dan Abnett's there, yeah.
Yeah, well, it's the combined.
Maybe that's why Jagatai Khan is the coolest Primarch
ever.
in those books. Even though I like most of the Primarchs, he's the coolest in the Siege of Terror series because he's there telling Dan Abnett, and then I did this. It's like write this, make me seem cool. So maybe he's actually a bit of a loser. We don't.
There's a really cool bit in Fury of Magnus as well, where Vulcan and Magnus go toe to toe, and you know the line "Magnus did nothing wrong." Yeah, Magnus did nothing wrong became a meme for a while.
It continues to be.
And Vulcan says, so this is Graham McNeil basically telling the 40k universe through the mouth of Vulcan, yes you did, and here are all the things you did wrong, and it goes over 2 pages.
Yeah. Screw Magnus, here's 99 reasons why. Yeah.
And when Vulcan was saying that, he was, for those 2 pages, my most favourite Primarch ever.
He's a cool Primarch. He's also the best Vulcan line. I'm not going to spoil I forget which, is it come from Vulcan Lives or something, but I won't spoil why he says it, but it's just the line, it's also a hammer. That's a good moment.
That's a nice twist.
That's a good moment. Yeah.
Those that know, don't spoil it for
I'm
anyone
not going to spoil it. So
can't wait to see the Lion returning to lead the Alpha Legion into victory. Exactly, brother Alpheus. Is he really the Lion, or is he
really?
Omegon?
Say Hi Paul says one of the Blood Angels codices said that they had the best bikers in the Imperium on the basis that they love flying so much they would only give it up if he just stopped there. But
so there you go. So
if they were super good at it.
So Games Workshop often say that this is the best
Random
of this
crap,
and this is the best of this. Hey, look, it's like we're here to sell you some shit. These guys are suddenly the best of the best right now. No, it's these guys. It's the White Scars. The White Scars are born in the saddle.
I would say so. Someone was saying it's been in the lore for ages, but we've just established Games Workshop don't understand their own lore sometimes.
Yeah,
and maybe it's all interpretation.
Games Workshop definitely do not understand their own lore because the lore is so vast.
Well, that's where they made that amazing caveat of it said the speaker is always unreliable. They said whoever's telling the lore is always unreliable because it's warp travel and timings and when someone says something it might be true at that moment, and that's how they get around their poor grasp on their own lore. Yeah, and I think that's brilliant.
Yeah, do you know when you become president of the United States, they take you to Area 51 and show you all the aliens.
Of course I know that. Yeah, I mean, I've been president twice.
They're like, here's some of these aliens, and these ones are from this system, and these ones are from this system, and here's the new spacecraft that we're developing.
I warned them about that Zinchian guy they got hanging around. They got a Lord of Change just hanging about in the... No, never mind. Carry on. Yeah, I was supposed to say that.
Well... my brain's now gone. Oh yeah, do you think that when you get to Games Workshop and you start work there, they sit you down and say, right, here's the thing, here's who the Emperor is, here's all the truth and things, they tell all the people.
I think you walk in the door of Warhammer World and you go into the staff door that no one else is allowed behind.
Yeah.
And as soon as you get in, there's this giant tentacled monster hanging in the void of space that just goes and then grabs you, and then you're gone, and then you're part of the mass.
What mass?
The mass.
The mass.
Yeah. If you don't know.
I don't know. So I'm not part of the mass.
It is what it is. Exactly. You're safe.
Is it like a big bundle of belly button fluff? Mass.
All I can tell you is that you will be the last to die.
Don't touch me. Lore changes over time. Remember, Dark Angels existed long before the White Scars were born.
Who said that?
That's going way back. It's like, okay, Ultramarines existed long... I think the first... So back in the day...
Where did you even read that? I don't even see that. Oh, there. Yeah.
Back in the day, after Rogue Trader...
Dark Angels were before I was born too.
Back in the day, after Rogue Trader was launched, you had the Rogue Trader box set. And everyone's like, what is all this stuff and things? So in White Dwarf, they used to release an article called Chapter Approved. And Chapter Approved, I think the very first chapter they released in there was the Mentors, white and green. And then the second one was the Ultramarines. And I remember opening up the Ultramarines because the Mentors one, it was like 6 pages, nice in colours, and it's got those traditional things of them and their armour, and someone painted up a few bits like that with some lore. And then the Ultramarines ones, when that Chapter Approved came out, and the White Dwarf the next month, it was like 20 pages long. It was like the other guys like, wow, you come up with that idea, I've come up with it. So
I'm about to end this entire man's career.
way back in the day, lots of things. Blood Angels came out and Chapter Approved, and then they came out in the Space Hulk game. It was first and second edition was a fertile time for the lore.
I know Crimson Fists were like the first, right?
Crimson Fists were on the box art.
Yeah.
I don't think they were even called Crimson Fist back then. They were called Space Marines.
Like Imperial Space Marines or something. Yeah. But yeah.
I mean, you got to remember the Horus Heresy was a chapter, was a paragraph made up on the back box art for the Adeptus
Renegade
Titanicus
thing.
game.
Yeah.
Titanicus came.
That was it. Yeah. Because they could only make one sculpt.
One sculpt.
Yeah.
I had the Titanicus box set, and I remember on the back, and yeah.
Oh, wow, who's Horus?
It didn't even have Horus in it. He said these two forces, many years ago, they fought each other.
Once upon a time, this guy kicks this guy, and then now we have 60 books.
Like, there was a civil war in the Imperium many years ago. Great, so let's play.
Yeah.
And then someone asked the question, 1 minute, I think it was called the Horus Heresy actually on the back, I don't know. But then someone asked, like, why? And then
there's like a paragraph, it's like, the War Master Horus has turned against the Emperor, You
can see an image of it. If you Google online, you'll find the thing on the back of the thing, and that was it. And that's how IPs grow over time, right? They just grow naturally over time as people plant more seeds.
That's why the Winters IP is growing.
Winters IP?
I presume. Yeah. Hello, I'm Winters.
The Winters IP generally burns in the morning. Only kidding. Only a little bit. I don't read White Dwarf anymore. Nothing against it's not for me anymore. Space Marines are shredded wheat breakfast in early lore. The Deathwing used to have a Native American vibe back in the day in OG Space Hulk. Primarch was originally just a rank 2. Ah, yes, General Horus in his bunker in the Adeptus Titanicus box. Well, in the book. Okay, so people are chatting about stuff and things. 10th edition. We've talked about a lot of stuff and things for 10th edition. Massive 10th ed stuff and things. We talked about what you said was in the box set.
Yeah, basically everything in the trailer, apart from Guilliman, who's like a face for a bit of it, they're usually in the box. Like the Indomitus thing, again, apart from the Sisters, because they only include 2 armies in a box. They don't include 3 yet.
I don't think they'll ever do 3.
Yeah, no, so it's always 2. So based on that logic, everything in that trailer is in the box. So I don't know if that Phobos lad's like a redesigned Lieutenant Sculpt, because at the moment it's only that one monopose guy. And then there's like the Stern Guard squad thing, and then there's the Dreadnought.
There's the Librarian. He's going to be a new Primaris Librarian and Terminator armor, because we haven't had a Primaris. So look, here's the thing.
Lots of Tyranids that I don't know.
Primaris Librarian Terminator,
Primaris Captain
We're
Terminator.
getting the Mortis pattern Dreadnoughts come through.
Yeah.
Right. Terminators are coming back. Great. What things in the Space Marine Codex haven't been Primarisified yet?
Stern Guard.
They
put a big thing into First Company in the lore recently. Okay. So I reckon those are like, I don't know if they are Stern Guard or if they're just going to be Primaris veterans.
Yeah.
And then they have a mix of weapon loadouts.
Well, Stern Guard and Vanguard only came out in 6th. So 1st through to 5th, it was veterans. And then the veterans had evolved into... I remember Stern Guard and Vanguard coming out.
I mean, there was also a lad with a heavy bolter with the white shoulder, because Ultramarines have a white shoulder pad if you're a veteran.
So a white helmet.
I think he had a white helmet as well, but he had a heavy bolter, like a heavy intercessor almost. So I wonder if there's like a mix and match kit that becomes veterans, and whether that Phobos guy who was like our protagonist, if you like, is part of that, or if he's separate.
So Primaris veterans, which means they have to be around for a while, and they haven't been around for a while.
I mean, that sergeant in the trailer was a badass. Like his squad got torn apart, and he's still there with his melter gun firing away.
He's a Space Marine. He's badass. Drop pods, Primaris drop pods.
That wasn't in the trailer, but I'd love it. But I think it'd just be the same drop pod, though, just they're allowed to go in it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Primaris flyers.
The only one they've ever mentioned is the Overlord, which is supposed to be bigger than a Thunderhawk.
Okay.
So
because we've got Primaris bikes, we've got Primaris tanks, we've got Primaris transports. The Impulsor can work as a Rhino or a Razorback.
to be honest, all I want for bikes is them to let them go in squad 6, so I can field loads of them.
Yeah, that
Just
seems
have 12
to
on
be
the table.
a weird choice. Units of 3 is weird.
I don't know. We might see it change. They might go just 3 to 6 now.
They should.
Yeah.
3 to 6 to 9? Why not just 5 to 10?
Because they come in boxes of 3.
Yeah, but why not 5 to 10?
Because people complain.
Because then you buy a
people
box and you
complain,
can't even field it. So if they come in a box of 3, then the minimum squad size has to be 3. Because then you get to your thing and it says 5, and you're like, I got a box, and little Timmy's only got 1 box.
So you have to buy 2.
You
Yeah.
have to buy 2.
Yeah. No. Some Alex Tate just reminded. Yeah, the Gravis Apothecary look boss. Yeah, he looked like he was
Gravis
in a.
Apothecary.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
Not only is he an apothecary, but he's a Gravis Apothecary.
Heck and chonk.
Which is cool.
Yeah.
I like the chonky ones. I like Toughness 5 Space. Here's the thing.
I like that he blew himself up.
I think wouldn't it would just be so much cleaner if they'd have gone from Mark 8 armor to Mark 10 armor, and Primaris weren't a thing, and it's just the new pattern armor, and then Gravis came out, and that's where the data sheet, because they had one more wound for a while, they've got one more attack for a while.
They still have one more wound. They don't have one more attack.
Yeah.
But they have one more toughness.
Yeah. So Gravis, I like the Gravis idea, because I've seen a few Space Marine armies out there that are entirely Gravis. Because you get heavy bottle guys, the Trumping Iron.
Well, they're so limited because you can't get like a lieutenant, you can't get a librarian, you can now get an apothecary, but he was never a HQ. So you could only ever get a captain in Gravis, and if you wanted to run a battalion, you have to find somebody else, and there's no other character in Gravis unless you run a chapter master in Gravis as well.
So we need the lieutenant, we need the librarian in Gravis, preferably. We need more Gravis stuff as well.
Yeah, I mean, we've got aggressors for the elites, they're cool. You got the eradicators with the melters for heavy. You've got the troops. It's just more HQ, I think. And then you can run and you bring some dreadnoughts along because they kind of fit the vibe.
Yeah, and you've got fast. You've got fast elite heavy because you've got
the Inceptors. Yeah. And
Jumpy
cool.
dudes.
Yeah, Jumpy dudes.
So you've got Gravis in each of those.
You just need more HQs.
Yeah.
And then just bring a couple of dreads as well.
And a tonk or 2.
And a tonk.
Yeah.
A tonk that can take Gravis, so like a repulsor.
Brutalis Dreadnought.
Epic.
Not your first ever shot.
Yeah. So he hits on 2. He hits on 3s, and he was re-rolling 1s, and he rolled 5 2s.
Yeah.
No, he rolled it. Nothing to do with me. No, he. But then the second time he fought, ripped through a squad.
I know. I like the fact he's got multi-melters in his chest.
I mean,
that's quite painful.
Yeah, he's cool. He's cool.
And you see the Mortis Redemptor with the las cannon thing, and he's got heavy bolters there.
If I had to guess,
can you switch those heavy bolters for multi-melters? Because imagine if you could have a Mortis pattern Redemptor Dreadnought with multi-melters as well. That's a lot of firepower.
Maybe. I don't think they will because they want to keep it long range. So you've got the Redemptor who's kind of ubiquitous doing his thing. You've got the long range Mortis, and then you've got the close range Brutalis. And I reckon that's the way I'll keep it.
Yeah.
But what I reckon, here's my prediction for the Mortis pattern Dread. It's going to be a heavy las cannon like the Guard have.
Okay.
So instead of being the single las cannon the Guard have, which is D3 plus 3 damage at strength 10, it will be 2 of those. Or it'll be twin links, because they might go back to that now. And then the missile launch will be those super crack missiles, so D3 plus 3 damage. So instead of being like the old school box dread one, it'll be the new Desolation Marine ones, but on his arm.
So Dreadnoughts now, you can buy the box that is your normal Primaris Dreadnought.
Your normal Redemptor with a fist and a gun.
Is the Brutalis one in a different box?
At the moment, you can only get it in Strike Force Agastus. So I wonder if they'll redo an entire box with everything.
And then you have Mortis pattern Dreadnoughts. Mortis pattern Dreadnoughts have got guns on their arms in the trailer.
So you've got a close combat, an all-comer, and then a...
So are we going to have 3 separate boxes for Space Marine Dreadnoughts, or are they going to do the right thing, the just thing,
and do
the moral thing, and have one box, and there's your Dreadnought?
I think they set a precedent with the Leviathan. I think it'll be options, and you can buy the upgrade sprues. Perhaps. Or maybe they went, oof, bad mistake, do one big box. Because I think the box would be more expensive if they do that, though. Yes,
because, you're looking at the Redemptor box that exists right now, and chucking in 2 extra sprues, 1 for all close combat, and 1 for all the shooting.
Yeah, I don't know. It seems like a lot of options for one box.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of options.
I wonder if they'll do like, okay, here's that you can build the normal Redemptor out of either. But here's the one with the shooty bits in, and here's the one with the close combat bits in, perhaps. Like the Leviathan. You've got a shooty Leviathan and a normal Leviathan. But realistically, you could make a whatever out of either.
Yeah, and yeah.
I don't know. It's a good question.
I mean, how many sprues is the Redemptor right now? You can have this Redemptor sprue. I think it's like a big sprue and a half, and I think that's it.
Yeah, and the Brutalis, I think, maybe had an extra because he doesn't have the gun. So yeah, it's a big sprue and a half. So realistically, the big sprue's the same. The Brutalis armor's different as well.
The Brutalis armor's different?
He's got like hip plates and a bigger knee pad and stuff. It's a different kit.
How do you know these things?
Because I've got one.
Okay, good answer.
It's out.
So it's a different kit.
It's a different kit. It's the same Dreads chassis, like at the top, but all the armor plates are different.
So what we're saying is there's certainly going to be multiple Redemptor Dreadnought boxes.
I think so.
So there'll be Redemptor Dreadnought, and then there'll be another box
a Brutalis Dreadnought,
which will say Brutalis / Mortis or whatever they call it, Dreadnought.
Yeah.
And I suspect if the kit isn't out yet and you can only get it in the thing, like you said, you can only get it in the thing, then it'll be in a box, and that's where you get your normal Dreadnoughts in the other one,
and then you get your two specialists in the one.
Yeah.
Maybe it'd be interesting to have a close combat and a long range Dread in the same box. Whereas the normal lad just runs around. I
wouldn't mind if the Brutalis and the long range Dread in the same. I think that'd be really cool because then you could magnetize. You don't even need to magnetize those Dreadnoughts. They're so easy. You can just slot them on, take them off. So one day you could run them straight up the field with his fists, whirling his claws around, jazz hands. And then the other day you can. I'll have him at the back shooting away.
Yeah,
plinking away. What are we talking about?
Stranger Knocking Hobbies. Jim.
Hi, Jim.
Yeah, he says White Scars Librarium Sultan. Yes, for anyone who doesn't know, I'm going to shout Jim out. So if you've seen the White Scars bat rep that we did recently, we went to the Bugs.
I didn't watch it.
You filmed it. There was a chapter master on a bike. He's a Custodes jet bike, and it was a White Scars chapter master, and it's absolutely epic. Painted by me, but completely sculpted by Jim, Stranger Knocking Hobbies. So he does do commissions. There is a waiting list. Absolutely worthwhile. Speak to Jim if you want.
Do commissions?
He does commissions.
How would people get in contact with Stranger Knocking Hobbies? Would they have to join the Winters SEO Discord, or does he have an Instagram or something like that?
So there is an Instagram, which is the same name as you can see in the chat, but also go to the Discord. There's another way. But yeah, he's currently... He came up to me at the event we just went to and said, I've just seen that new Custodes guy, the Blade Master, running with his sword. You know the one? Yeah, the one with his robes and stuff.
The one with the different stances and
things.
And
he was like, how cool would that be as a White Stars captain? And I was like, yeah, it'd be pretty cool. He's like, if you buy it, I'll do it for you. And I was like, I would never been to the till faster in my life. I ran through, beep, here you go, mate. So he's going to go and sculpt me a jump pack captain. Yeah.
Nice.
Absolute legend.
Nice. Yeah, there was... I did talk to him about, not for me, but for Alex SEO. You know the Master of Executioners for the World Eaters?
With the big axe,
He's got a really big axe, and he's in quite a... So he's in the World Eaters Codex, and he's the only one in there with both of his feet on the ground, because nearly every single model in the World Eaters Codex has lots of action going on.
Yeah.
And it's like,
you need that thing.
You need, like
the Juggernaut.
This one has got barely 1 foot on the ground. You know what I mean? Yeah, the front two legs are up. So I was like, yeah, please do a Master of Executions that actually looks like a Master of Executions rather than a guy just chilling. So. Yeah. So what we're saying in the chat, Sultan is the best Space Marine player of all time, says Mike Swanson.
He's so close to me. He's in punching range. Please don't say that.
The best Space Marine player of all time. He's second best. He's definitely... He's not the first. He's not the first place,
I suppose it's quantity versus... quantity.
No, but there was this tournament once. I don't mention it very often. But I went there with Space Marines and I won.
How do I mute you? I mute me too. Never mind.
I'm not doing commission at the moment, but will be in the future. See,
so keep him booked in the mind. Keep him booked in the mind.
He's not doing commissions.
Because he's doing a couple at the moment.
Right.
They take a while because he puts love and time and a little bit of spit because you have to mold the green stuff. But he puts time, blood, and all that stuff. So keep an eye on Jim and just hit him up every now and again. Saying you're doing commissions now. Don't stress him out though.
Models are
he's a good lad.
I mean. You do, when you mention spit, you look at things like that and you think, how much spit is on that model? There's a lot of...
drool a lot.
There's a lot of spit on that model.
Yeah, we're constantly wiping your mouth.
Yeah, thanks.
That old man white goop you get.
I know. It just... Well, sometimes...
That's not true. He doesn't actually... Don't want to turn you off.
Will the 13th have these awesome reinforcements coming soon, says Mark.
You haven't even added Indomitus to yours, have you, really?
I'd added some...
You know any bikes?
I've got 3 Outriders.
Do you?
Yeah.
Well, 3 isn't really enough, is it, if you're going to run them?
I didn't add any Blade Guard.
You did? No, you added the captain, didn't you?
I added the captain. See, the thing is, 9th came round, and there was more... I saw lots and lots of models for stuff that I already have.
In your first one?
So Storm Speeders are bigger land speeders. ATVs are bigger attack bikes. Everything is just a newer, shinier version of the stuff that I've got. And I didn't have that desire, I must get this and I must get this. And I didn't have that desire that I normally have when new Space Marine stuff comes out. Like, oh, I've got to get that.
Is it because it's a replacement?
Because I felt like I had it all already.
What about, because you couldn't get this, that Brutalis, I know it's in a box moment, but when it comes up myself, would that Brutalis tempt you, considering the only thing close to it that I can think of is the Blood Angels Death Company / Furioso Dread that can't go to other chapters at the moment? There's no close combat dread other than the Ironclad.
I'll tell you another thing as well. Another thing that is pumping the brakes for me is I painted all of the 13th myself. And I can't really edge highlight anymore or do stuff like that because I'm old and my eyes are knackered. So I haven't got that desire to get them and paint them and get them done. And I can't ship them off for other people to paint because it won't look as glorious as the 13th.
Is that why you won't use that Tech Marine I made you for your birthday
Thank you
2
for
years
painting
ago?
Well, it needs tidying up a bit.
What?
So it needs...
Well, it was painted 2 years ago now. I don't know.
I know, but...
You were just going to base it.
Thank you for giving... me a Primaris Tech Marine for the birthday. It
was for birthday when you were still in the 40s.
I need to put the bases on sharp. I need to do the base properly, and it's a good model. I like that model. I like that.
He's dusty. I just blew into the mic.
So I'd rather actually
just this little man's that I got him for his birthday, and he never did anything with. Oh, it's really blurry. Hold on.
And the other thing, here's another reason why. Not only is
I'm trying.
You are very trying. And the other thing is, I get to play against a lot of Space Marine armies. A lot. So I don't need to add to my Space Marines in order to see Space Marines on the tabletop and play against them and have fun and make stories and things like that. I'm more interested in the Tyranid stuff. And adding some new Tyranid stuff.
Do you want to split a box?
Like the new... Yeah, okay. Definitely. With the strikes and all the things. I'd really like to add them and pump up the Kraken numbers and field them against some Space Marines. So when people ask me about the 13th, because I do get asked about them all the time, are you going to add this? Are you going to add this? Are you going to add that? And my honest... For those 3 reasons, I don't have... It feels a bit meh. I'm almost tempted to put the 13th to one side and say...
Just give him a little kiss.
This is the way the world ends for them.
No.
And just move on.
No.
And move on.
No.
I've got some Dark Angels that I won this tournament with once. I don't know if I've ever mentioned it.
Tell you what, no, this will get your love back.
And maybe I should
13th.
add to the Dark Angels instead.
You should add to the Dark Angels as well.
Shall I get the trophy?
You should get the Lion.
I should get the Lion and
because
add them
you're
too.
400 points short now because of the changes, which probably won't be valid soon, but... Stick the Lion in as well.
Imagine the Lion with an entire Deathwing army. How balanced and normal would that feel? That would feel great.
I'll bring my White Scars bikes against you.
Yeah. I am more excited about the Lion than I am about adding bits to the 13th. I think that's just the way the hobby evolves and it moves on. Like I was very excited.
Let's start a poll.
What?
How
do you start that poll?
I showed you earlier. Should
you didn't really
Winters?
Yes.
Kill
the
13th.
I didn't say kill. Well,
yeah, but they know what it is.
You put it in there then.
I'm
thinking about maybe taking them to a nice desert island somewhere where they can retire.
Yeah, but then to the audience they're dead.
Get some 13.
To the audience they're dead.
Get some margaritas.
No. Some people have said yes.
Imagine some 13th though.
That's not as high as I thought it would be.
On some desert. I don't know how to make that thing do the thing. I can't.
It's just showing you the biggest one.
Huh?
It's just showing you the biggest percentage because that's how it works. And then when you're done and you hit those and put end poll,
but
it'll
if
show you
the
the
no
full.
is 68%, how many do you know said yes?
Well, it's out of 100.
Oh yeah.
Was that legit?
Maybe. Don't tell anyone though. I think I got away with it. I am an idiot. But I did win this tournament once. Anyway, I'm thinking that I'm more excited about adding to the Dark Angels than I am to the 13th.
You should add to the Dark Angels. They're glorious.
The 13th they've got their thing. They've done that.
Get Den to do their level 6.
Den, do
what's
their
highest? What's
it doesn't
highest
work
level?
like that. It's
what's
like,
their highest level? They're custom in it.
No. The highest level you can pay for is level 6, but they do a level 7, which is their Golden Demon painters, and they have done level 7.
You should like go to them and say, do what you do on this.
Yeah. So the Nightbringer or the Plague, that model they made. 7? That's that non-metallic metal.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So all of the level 7 stuff they do. There's a few people in the studios that have got like Golden Demon pins or won painting competitions or stuff like that, and they will let the artists go. Yeah. So that model is.
I think you should say, hey, Den, you know how you're great and you love us? This, please? And then just give them the line.
Well, they're still,
I know they're doing a lot for you.
They're doing 2 armies right now. But with the launch of 10th edition, I'm sure if I turned around to Den of Imagination and said, hey, Den of Imagination, the greatest painting studio in the Soul System, would you like me to feature this in a battle report at the launch of 10th edition? I'm sure they'll go yes. Because it advertises their shizzle, right? Yeah.
Paul says an orc once killed one of them, blew his head clean off. Orf.
Of the 13th, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, headbanger.
Poor Civitas.
Civitas Kane.
Yeah.
I had a whole narrative.
He lives in someone else's force now, doesn't he?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have Golos because I killed him with my sisters.
Yes.
Golos sits at home next to my painting desk because I hate Death Guard, and he just sits there watching me.
Monkey is Delirium the
I quite
Corruptor.
like him. Monkey does have Delirium the Corruptor.
Imperiax has Chaplain Snow.
Yeah, Chaplain Snow's gone.
Do you not watch any of my battle reports?
I support you enough without watching it. I pay you and just don't watch.
Did you not listen to my excellent story time called Ambush?
No.
Yeah, Chaplain Snow's gone.
Oh. You know, you could have just let me live on in my fantasy. You know, the Brothers 3, Solgaro.
Chief Librarian Sagan Mir.
Sagan Mir's the one I was trying to remember, yeah. And then Chaplain Snow, all hanging out, high-fiving, fist-bumping. Now, one of them's gone. So who's next? Is Solgaro just going to be like, oof,
there's Gabriel Locke,
it's been a long time.
Talus, there's Maven, there's quite a few.
I like Gabriel Locke, he's the bike one. He speaks to me.
Him and
not physically,
and Solgaro, they're like bros. Best friends, in my lore anyway. I'm still grieving over Chaplain Snow, says Marcus Cordova. Imperiax, there he is. Snow is safe, says Imperiax. He's in the chat. Looking after basically, let's say he's not dead, let's say he's on like one of these, you know, when at school you used to get these, what are they called, exchange things, when you would exchange with someone else and suddenly
trading.
Yes. So what you'd do is, like in my house, we were able to trade out my sister.
In my house?
So she went somewhere.
Oh.
And then we had someone from Belgium turn
up. So an exchange student. Sorry. Yeah,
exactly. It was basically an excuse to get rid of my sister for a couple of weeks, and it worked. And the person from Belgium, he was lovely. So it's like that with Snow. It's like...
Pay it on.
Because when you're a teenager,
so what did you get back?
You just want to get rid of your sisters all the time. You want them gone. You want them out of your... I know you've got a brother and stuff.
I've got 2 sisters.
Sisters are no good when you're a teenager.
I've got 2 brothers and 2 sisters. You want brothers
when you're oh, yeah.
It's called a hard family, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean... Yeah.
Okay, right. People have overwhelmingly, at least in terms of like how political polls usually go, said no.
Oh, 30% said yes, though.
Why...
30% said
30% just want to watch the world burn.
30% said I should retire the 13th.
William Begley just started Tau. Any advice? Crisis suits, all of them, all the crisis suits.
The edition's changing soon, though.
No, because who cares? Crisis suits are awesome. I never chose crisis suits because they were good.
Yeah.
Though they're right now they are.
Here's the thing, though.
Crisis suits are the coolest thing in the book.
Yeah. So. There's certain things that you can get in almost all the codexes. You can get tanks in Tau, you can get tanks in Guard, you can get tanks in Space Marines, right?
Yes.
Yes, and you can get...
Sorry, I wasn't sure you wanted me to...
You can get tanks in loads of different codexes, you can get infantry in loads of...
I'm going to ban stuff for saying advice for Tau, don't.
But there is...
I'm joking, I'm not going to do that to you.
But there is only one codex where you can get the Gundam battlesuits. and that's Tau. So lean into it. Like there's only one codex where you can get monstrous, huge demons and things, chaos demons. So I would suggest to anyone who's new to the hobby and is looking at their codex, get the stuff that's unique to that codex.
Yes.
Because it's cool, and other people in the hobby like seeing these cool things, and they tend to do cool things on the battlefield that no other things can do. Battle suits are good. Battle suits were good in this edition. They've always been pretty good.
I hope they continue to be. To be fair, even in 8th, when Tau was a really bad army, towards the end of 8th, when they were a really bad army, crisis suits were still fun. That's what mattered. They weren't good, they were fun. And in 9th, they've been really strong throughout. Less so towards the end as all the 4 damage stuff started coming in, so you just pop a suit.
Yeah.
But when there was all 3 damage stuff, it was doing okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it doesn't matter. I don't care if they get wiped off the board, because I know that like I can always deep strike them in and have fun with them for a turn, and then they go again. It's fun.
What suits? If you were like genuinely like starting a Tau army from scratch with battle suits,
and you wanted them
and
to
you
be
had
good.
to get a couple of, and you could only afford 2 different types of suits, and you got Storm Surges, Riptides, XV-88s, Crisis suits, Cold Stars, Stealth suits, and you had to start off with 2 sort of suits. What will those suits be?
Plasma Crisis suits.
Yes.
I run mine really expensively in terms of points. 3 plasma and a shield, because they're really hard to shift, and then they're just throwing thunderhammers out at people essentially. So they're cool. And then XV8, just in terms rule of cool, XV-88s with the big rail rifles sit there in the backfield, and they literally just go, that thing, go, get rid, hate. So William was just saying, he just wanted Ghost Kills my favourite model in Tau, and the broadsides, get them. Ghost Kills, get some little Eggmens to go with it because it's cool, and broadsides, we got 3 for the Tau army. We're going to get another 3 because I bought 3 more broadsides.
Did
the XV-88s. Remember, I gave them to you. They're in a box around here somewhere, ready to shoot.
Are they actually?
They're in that little box.
Are the XV-88s in it?
Yeah, they've been stripped pretty badly.
I didn't realise you got more XV-88s.
Yeah, I bought another Ghost Kill.
Right.
And more. Oh, he's a little bit wobbly, but.
But haven't we got 3 of them already?
Yeah, I want 6. Stick 6 at the back.
And I apologise for not sending these off to Den of Imagination.
We got other stuff.
But the reason why I haven't sent them off to Den of Imagination yet is because they'll shout at me if I send them any more stuff.
Yeah, no. They're there for there. They can sit in the back pocket. We've got plenty of Tau. They can sit in the back pocket. I just got a good deal. So Element Games.
Let's just say they're here for a good time.
They're here for a long time, not necessarily a good time. Yeah. They're in a box stripped. Okay. But yeah, Element did a what they called a war boot sale.
A what?
A war boot sale. It's a second-hand sale. So people came and set up tables and sold a bunch of stuff. And there was a guy selling like 20,000 points of Tau. So I gave him like 100 quid and got like 3 broadsides, a Ghost Kill, a bunch of drones, a bunch of troops.
That's what he's going to say. I gave him 100 quid and got 20,000 points of Tau.
No. He wanted to make some dosh.
Okay.
Imperax's welcome to the 13th tier 3. He's going to watch your vids.
Thank you for joining, and Nathan W. Thank you for joining the tier 3. If you'd like to support me, then you can become a tier 1 channel member and unlock your custom badges and images and things like that. Tier 2 gives you access to my Discord, and tier 3 unlocks all the above, and also access to all the additional videos that I put out. And in there are 2 campaigns already. There's 20 plus members only battle reports, and there's one that went up on Tuesday. There's another one going out on Sunday. I don't know what I'm putting out on Sunday yet, though. It'll probably be a Horus Heresy one. And thank you for being a tier 2 member for 2 months, William Wills. Hey Hobbits. Nice. Any Lord of the Ring reference here, you have me. Do you think Relic Terminators will still be a thing for 10th, or rolled into generic Termi datasheet with all weapon options?
Well, Cataphractory and Tartaros are so different. I would like to think they'll be separate. I mean, do you remember in 9th they separated out all the Gladiator variants and all the Repulsor variants and all the Dreadnought variants? Because it was easier to have, like, instead of going... Then they changed it again later, but like instead of saying this one Gladiator, you can put 2 melters on, but only if you put the Las Talon on, and then this one you can put the big gun on, but only if you put these on, and so on. I wonder with the Terminators, given that the relics can take all the chain fists, they might keep it separately.
William Willis asks, you ask a deceptively intelligent question there, young man, about Relic Terminators, because it opens up the question, which is, look at the Space Marine Codex. There's a lot of shit in it.
There's a lot of shit.
There's a lot of shit in it.
There's a hunter and a stalker. What are they for?
So take out all the firstborn stuff and just look at the Primaris.
Not forever.
No, let's just
Put it
say
in a different book.
even if you didn't look at the firstborn stuff, the Primaris options alone have 2 or 3 times the unit options that some other codexes have. There's a lot of Primaris in there now.
There's enough Primaris to have their own book, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, and people have mentioned it in the chat and previously.
Yeah,
maybe
there are
2 separate books.
more Primaris options for Space Marines than there are Necron units available, and Necrons have been around since 3rd edition.
What would you think if they did break out?
So
the rules
what about
the same?
the relic thing? What about these things? What about the Terminators? What about what's going to happen to them overall over time? So
I don't
was your
think
question?
that.
Sorry, I rudely interrupted you.
No, it's all right. With regards to that question, I'll answer that because you just jogged my memory.
Jog.
I think they will split them up because they just released the new sculpts, and whenever they release a new box, they give rules just for that box. So I think there'll be a separate date. Maybe in future they'll combine. For now,
to answer that question, I don't know if they'll do it in this edition,
but future.
But I can definitely see it might happen in 10th. Who knows? But in 11th or onwards, I can definitely see
Tartaros and Catherine Frector used to be.
Yeah, no firstborn being in the Space Marine book.
Yeah, so it's a good question. Is the answer?
I can see in the future firstborn being a Horus Heresy option, and everyone who's got Devastators and this and that and the others, you wouldn't be able to play with those unit types anymore if they're not in the main. It's just a matter of time until firstborn are not in the Space Marine book anymore. How
would you feel if they split the book? Same rules, is in that like the army traits are the same. So instead of having, Codex Space Marines with everything and it's like that thick, and then you have the supplements, you have here's the rule, all the chapters, one book, but for Primaris. Here's the same book, all firstborn. So if you just play Primaris, buy that book. So you just play, but a lot of people pick up them both. So GW were like cash money. Thanks.
Okay. Games Workshop are after the cash money. Yeah. They split out Space Marines before. You got Space Marines, and then if you want Blood Angels, and then if you want Space Wolves, they're in different books and blah. They could. There's no reason why not Games Workshop could release Space Marines Indomitus, and in the Space Marines Indomitus book or cards or whatever it might be, those are all your Primaris stuff. And then Space Marines Firstborn, Space Marines Pre-Indomitus, and it's a different book. But just like you can play Space Wolves or Blood Angels, you could play with this one or this one, but they're in 2 separate books.
I wonder if they probably considered that, right? They've almost certainly brainstormed it and then gone, we're going to keep one book. But we don't know. Obviously, there's no book that's come out. But yeah.
These molds break down over they're metallic plastic injection molding machines. And they do break down over time. They do their wear and tear, right?
Yeah, and how much at a certain point there's diminishing returns on making those old kits. As in, like getting to a cut, then they're like, okay, cool. So let's say our old Whirlwind stamp is gone. Right. So or the machine's broken that makes Whirlwinds.
Yes.
So or the Whirlwind specific thing, they'll go, well, we've got this new Primaris tank that fires Whirlwind missiles. So Whirlwind's gone. Because people aren't going to buy this tank anymore.
Yeah.
Whirlwind's maybe a bad example because people like the Whirlwind, but still, like the Hunter and the Stalker, I've never seen on the table.
Because they're crap.
Well, of course they are.
Because it's not because they're crap. They introduced a model. The Hunter and the Stalker were designed to deal with 7th edition flyers and earlier, where you could only snap fire hitting at flyers, which means anything flying that wasn't hovering, you needed 6s to hit.
Whereas that would be hitting on normal.
It's the same in Horus Heresy, by the way. In Horus Heresy, if there are flyers flying, you need 6s to hit it unless they hover. Okay? The only thing that allows you to hit flying things at normal ballistic skill is if they had the Skyfire rule. So they invented Hunters and Stalkers,
to deal with
had the Skyfire rule to deal with that, because Space Marines had 0 Skyfiring capabilities.
Yeah.
Guard had it with Daka.
Oh, no, the Hydra. Yeah.
Hydra. The Guard had it. Eldar had it. Lots of the different factions had some kind of skyfiring abilities, but the Space Marines didn't. So the Hunter and Stalker came out about a year and a half before 8th dropped, and then 8th dropped.
Oh, so not actually that long. Okay, so they've not been around too long, but they are crap.
So some of them turned up on some battlefields for a very short period of time.
And then when 8th came along,
then you don't need them anymore.
Yeah.
Because they were designed to
fill
a specific role around the rules. The Thunderfire Cannon was like that as well. The Thunderfire Cannon was designed it came out in 6th. It was designed to fill a certain indirect fire role in the Space Marine Codex, which only a Whirlwind managed to fulfill, which you don't need anymore.
So there's a question here.
Yes.
Space Marine supplements in 10th. I think there's going to be one book with all the supplements. What do you think?
So Space Marines, boom, done.
I think it's going to be Space Marines core book, and then all the specialist chapters. So Space Wolves, Dark Angels, Blood Angels, one book. And White Scars and Ultramarines too. So like, here's your main Space Marine book. Have fun, and then if you want to pay a specialist chapter or a chapter that has extra things, here you go. If they're going to do it at all.
I like your original idea right at the back at the start of the live stream, which is no rules. So they could have Codex Space Marines. There's no rules in it, but Codex Space Marines for 10th edition has 50 pages of the most glorious, well-written narrative that you've ever seen.
Yeah.
Dan Abnett's written a short story in there. There's full painting galleries and how to paint like in the old days.
Like the OS books.
Like the OS books. There's maps in there. There's star charts in there. And if you're a Space Marine player and you don't own Codex Space Marines, which has 0 rules in it, you're not really a Space Marine player, because it's the Bible of Space Marines.
It's the
and they could do the same thing by releasing Space Wolves and Blood Angels and Votan and Kroot and this and that. And in the end, you'd have like 50 faction books and all the sub-factions and all that. And they could last 5-10 years, and they would be glorious books that people would buy them, people would own them, people would love them.
Because I've still got, because I only rejoined in 8th. I've still got my 8th edition codices.
Have you?
Because I like to go back, not for the rules, because they're useless now. That half of the book is useless. But going back and looking at like, okay, so here's like over the years, the short amount of time that it's been, Blood Angels looked subtly different to how they do now. They're adding more blue into the Blood Angels, like the cross hatching on the knee pads and stuff, and it's like stuff like that. So and I know going way back, if you look at like 2nd edition, they got yellow everywhere, and they got the chevron, you got all the checkers. And then they used to have black shoulder pads, shoulder rims and stuff like that. So it's like, I love seeing that.
Yeah.
That stuff's cool. The rules don't last.
It's like Iron Hands suddenly had a lot of white added to them in 8th edition as well.
Like the Raven Guard.
What the hell is going on there? Yeah. And the Raven Guard suddenly had a lot of white. Back in the day, it was black and greys, and that was it. And why are those Masters of Stealth adding white all over the place? It doesn't make any sense to me.
I don't know.
But yeah, as the White Dwarf people evolve their thing, these things evolve. That is the worst English sentence ever in English ever.
As thing evolve, thing evolve.
Yeah. So this is where everyone is at. Yes, Two Pickles, this is where everyone is at. Johnny Rockstar still has his 3rd edition codex. Nice. Space Marine supplements in 10th. Did we answer that?
But that was the one we just talked about.
That was the one. So, I mean, I think the best thing, Winter's still early.
From
but
Henry Zervas.
If Necrons were your 9th army, any idea of what you might try in 10th from Henry Zerva? So when 10th edition drops with Tyranids in it, I will definitely go to town on some Tyranids.
Expand.
I'll be expanding.
Not that your army's small.
It's not that small, but I'll definitely be adding... See, my Tyranid paint scheme as well is very easy to do. Spray white.
It's Kraken, isn't it? Yeah.
Kraken. Spray white. Pick out the red carapace and the black claws all over the place. Wash the whole thing brown. Highlight. Done. It's very quick. I can knock out... Because my Tyranids as well, I've apart from the core 1,500 that I start off with, I'm up to about 5,000 points. I painted all of them because it's really, really quick. So I imagine that the first thing I'll go to, I'll lean quite hard into is Tyranids. I'm still smashing through the...
Heresy.
Heresy isn't going anywhere for me. There'll still be Heresy battle reports and Heresy content coming up as well. I put this down... when 8th dropped, that game system. I won't be putting it down for 10th edition because, controversial opinion, Horus Heresy is an objectively better game than Warhammer 40k right now.
I like that it's more random.
I like that
it's actually not that 40k isn't a game.
Things happen to you that you have no control over, like getting pinned, falling back, things blowing up. Anyway, so I'm still going to be leaning hard into the Heresy thing. So with those two aside, am I going to lean hard into a new faction? Well,
the Necrons were a surprise for you, weren't they?
Currently in the Winters SEO Discord is the Hobbypocalypse series. And we're now on to season 3. And sat to my left, your right, is one of the 4 horsemen of the Hobbypocalypse. And a big shout out to any other Hobbypocalypse dudes who happen to be in the chat. You're up to season 3 now. And
This
My
year it's too early.
Necrons was actually, I did try and keep up with season 2 Hobbypocalypse, and the idea with Hobbypocalypse is you pick and paint 250 points a month every month, right?
Yes.
250 points a month every month. Do that for 6 months. At the end of 6 months, you've got a 1,500 point
You
painted
have a legal army. Yeah.
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 And are you guys doing a season 4 Hobbypocalypse?
I don't have
Say
any control
yes.
out of any of this.
So I'm definitely looking forward. So
Brap says yes. He's the one who kind of runs it. I just
Brilliant.
show up for the streams.
So my Necron collection was me trying to keep up with the Hobbypocalypse in 2022.
You didn't try that hard because you did like half a month and went, I like this, and just killed Necrons.
I was well into it.
15,000 points of Necrons.
I was inspired by it.
Yeah.
So in 2024, once we are balls deep into 10th edition and we know what's going on and blah, 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 I think I intend to, in my head right now, is basically I'm looking forward to joining the Hobbypocalypse in 2024 and following through and having 1,500 points worth of painted miniatures at the end of the 6-month process. You never know, by the end of the year I might have 8,700 painted like I did with the Necrons. I don't know what that project is yet. I tend to, if I'm painting it these days, my number one criteria is rule of cool and speed painting. What can I make look cool quickly? Because I want to get it on the tabletop quick. I want to show you guys.
I would say like an airbrush would be your friend, but you're not that kind of person. You can't deal with because this is so intricate, isn't it? And you're just like, I can't deal with this.
I had an airbrush once.
You hate it, I'm guessing. You snapped it and threw it away.
It was yeah.
I know what you like. It's not a flaw. It's just how you're wired, and you're just like, it's too much.
It's too much.
Yeah, I love my airbrush.
Do you?
Yeah, it took me a while.
What's her name?
Sandra.
Yeah. So what do you use your airbrush for?
Painting minis.
Yeah, but what, any all the minis, or some of the minis, or most of the minis?
So, like, here's a good thing for an airbrush. If you spray like your model's grey seal with the rattle can, because the rattle cans are really good for priming,
right?
And then like my
rattle can prime it
because it's easy, right? Yes. You just take it outside, done.
Okay.
Because an airbrush is a lot more precision.
Right.
And then if you put some contrast paint into the airbrush and thin it down ever so slightly, contrast as long as you've done a white primer or a grey, I use grey seal.
But they have airbrush paints. You don't have to put contrast paint. They do.
No, contrast has such a high saturation and creates the shadows for you as well. So I generally do, like, my salamanders are entirely contrast paint through the airbrush, and then I go through and do my highlights and normal acrylic paints over top.
I would have never thought to use contrast paints in an airbrush.
I can't even take credit for this. Well, I've been doing it for a while anyway, but I saw Squidmar endorse it.
Okay.
So when I saw Squidmar doing it, he's like, yeah, we love contrast paints through an airbrush. I was like, cool, I'm doing something right here, because Squidmar and Lucas like it. So Emil and Lucas, and I was like, yeah, they're big, they know what they're doing.
So is there a YouTube channel other than Squidmar that I can go and get some great painting tips from, such as this one, Sultan?
Yes, Sultan Plays. It's my YouTube channel. And
is it?
Yeah, I do actually show sometimes using contrast through the airbrush as part of a video. There's a video coming out tomorrow where I completely randomly
tomorrow?
No, it's my I did one for my channel too. I managed to get one done in time, where I completely randomly generate what I'm painting. And I'll talk you through it afterwards, but essentially I made a little sheet and I rolled dice and it told me what I was going to be, how I was going to make it. So I ended up with, no real spoilers, I ended up with a type of person doing something totally unlike what that person should be doing.
Right.
Okay. And I'll explain to you afterwards. And if you watch it, it'll be out at 3:00 tomorrow. If you 3:00 UK time, if you want to see it tomorrow. But
Sultan is the fastest speed painter I know, but also you know all the tips, tricks, and techniques as
that's
well.
All speed painting is. It's just efficiency and tips.
When I learnt to paint, we didn't have washers and things or technical paints. So I learnt a couple of ways that work for me.
You still had to grind up the flowers, right?
Had to grind up the flower. Had to pluck the horsehair to make the brush.
Yeah.
All that sort of stuff. And I settled on a couple of techniques that work for me, and I've been following those techniques for 20 years. Whereas you, because you have a mind.
I grew up in an age of plenty.
In an age of plenty. You grew up with the internet being a thing.
That's such a great resource.
YouTube
is incredible for learning it. All the tips I'm going.
I should use it more.
You should. You're on it, yeah.
Yeah.
But no, all the tips that I give, they're not taken from other people. They're people. I've learned stuff from people I've practiced it and
Yes.
then learned my own method of doing that tip.
Right.
And then I present it back, and I'm hoping if it helps a single person, then it's worth it. If it helps a single person paint, then it's worth it.
And that's where you got all your because the YouTube essentially is a massive search engine. Like how to fix my carburetor.
It's the best search engine you could possibly get.
How do you fix my carburetor? How do I sew a flag onto a thing? It's a massive search engine with videos as the answer instead of Wikipedia.
You don't need to use not I'm disparaging these companies like Skillshare and Masterclass stuff. You don't need, and YouTube is there.
You can disparage.
You just got to verify your sources. That's all, and that's up to you to do. But yeah, I love it.
And that's where you got it all from.
Yeah, 90% of it. Well, let's say I learned the first 20% from YouTube. You can watch and learn. I learned by doing. I had to then go and do it, and that's when I learned the actual technique. So a lot of stuff people say, "Oh, how do you do edge highlighting?" It's brush control.
And so to learn all the tips,
I helped poo.
And so to learn all the tips and tricks that Sultan learned off of YouTube's, you can go and search all of YouTube's yourself and spend many years searching through the wilderness with your
then got to do the
beanie
practice
on and the stuff, and take some supplies with you and learn how to bivouac a tent and shit like that.
You've then got to do 5 years of painting practice.
Or instead of that, you can just subscribe to Sultan on Sultan Plays YouTube channel. Reed Gardner, thank you for being a member for 3 months. And his mug has arrived. Yay! There are more Winters SEO mugs out there in the wild now. It's glorious to see them copulating and spreading across the landscape. Kane Evro, welcome to the 13th of Tier 3. Thank you for becoming a channel member. I really appreciate you. Check out all the new videos and things. Goobertown Dice Painting Fun. Overboard. I intend to play with my family, but my son's moved out of state. My daughter is busy raising a family, plus the rules were a lot more intense for me to teach someone just to... Yes. 10th edition will be an accessible edition. They've said it.
Hopefully it'll be easier for you to teach people the game. I'm hoping... I don't know if she'll stick to this because she said it during the height of 9th when it was really difficult, but Jess is quite wanted to learn the rules when they got easy again. But she might have just been saying that. I don't know.
She's interested.
Jess is my partner, so hopefully, I know you know that, but they don't.
That'd be awesome if she
she learned to play. Yeah,
learned to play it.
I just want to say, so William Begley at Sultan, when are you going to take commissions? I take commissions on and off all the time. So if people want to get in touch for commission work, you can find me on Instagram at Sultan Plays 40k,
or in the Winters Discord, or just drop him a message on his YouTube.
Okay.
How busy are you right now?
I've just finished up a Necron commission for a guy, which is actually a video that came out the other week.
Okay.
I often double up and make a video of it too. It's just good. It's just good. It means it's like, oh, I have something to paint done. Yeah, no, right now, I don't think I've got anything.
And he's really cheap. He only charges £100 a miniature. Get in contact with
Depends on the miniature.
Sultan Plays. £100 a Warlord Titan, done.
No.
9th edition rules are really hard. It's the codexes that were really hard to learn, I think. Not the rules. I think the core rules were generally quite good.
Yeah, because they were
the codexes, they fucked them up.
Yeah. I tell you what I don't like. How OBSEC worked.
What? Why?
I just don't like the idea. And I get gameplay, I get it. But I just never liked the idea of the fact like a Ripper. Maybe this is a bad example because they're pretty sneaky, but a Ripper taking an objective off a squad of 5 Terminators. Why the hell doesn't the Super Soldier just go, nah, this is mine? Likewise, a single Necron Warrior versus 5 Blade guy. I'm using Space Marines as an example here. Or why would 10 Conscripts hold an objective better than a Super Heavy? Like a Knight. Maybe the Knight's a bit different because Conscripts could be like doing something. But yeah, I would like to see, and maybe that's the last bit on that data sheet where it said OC. I don't know if you saw that OC at the end. Maybe that's what they count as is controlling an objective.
It makes more sense in Horus Heresy. So you don't actually count numbers and models in Horus Heresy. You have OBSEC units that can score, right, in Heresy.
Yeah.
And if there is another unit other than a vehicle, because vehicles can never deny in Heresy unless it's a dreadnought.
I get why a vehicle could. A Knight's a bit different, but a vehicle.
But if there's another
tank.
model within 3 inches of that, no one scores it.
Yeah.
It's like you can only score that if you have a scoring unit and there are no other units within range.
Yeah,
whereas in 40k, there's no other units in range, so you definitely score it. Whereas in 40k, what you do is, well, how many models have you got? How many models have I got?
I have
the number
OBSEC.
of models outnumber you, and that doesn't make sense. Like, the Marines are sent in to take that objective and hold down the thing, and they're fighting the Nazis in the bridge over the River Kwai. And yeah, we've secured the position, sir. Is that gunfire I hear in the background? No, sir, we outnumber them on the current objective. There's 4 of them and there's 12 of us.
I get it. Yeah,
it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, how would they secure it if they're having a
battle,
vicious combat over it? Yeah.
We're currently fighting the dreadnought, sir, but there's 20 of us, so we definitely hold this objective down. There won't be 20 of you in 2 seconds. No, but we're fine, sir. Yeah.
The dreadnought just fired. Oh, we're all dead. Never mind. Yeah, it's like Sanguinary Guard said, for objective control, 1 guardsman is better than 1 Warlord Titan.
Yeah.
Why? Why? The Warlord Titan just be like, it's not even a factor to the Warlord. The objective to a Warlord Titan shouldn't even be a factor.
I know.
Just for bringing a Warlord Titan, you just win for rule of cool and effort put in, as long as you painted it yourself.
So let's admit, we know why that rule is in place, and that rule is in place because 9th edition is the competitive edition, and you needed ways on the competitive scene to determine who really is controlling this objective at that time. Derek, 4th Company PL, welcome to the 13th Tier 1. Thank you for supporting me. Tier 1 gets you all the custom images and badges, and I really, really appreciate your support. If you want the Discord as well, that's Tier 2. If you would like access to all the videos, then that's Tier 3. There's also Mega Members. For people who live in castles and drink brandy from balloons, Mega Members.
You've got Mega Member.
I've got Mega. No, I haven't. I'm definitely not. I've definitely not got a Mega Member myself. But I know a few people that I've got Mega Members. Anyway, what were you pointing at?
So they confirmed that OC is the way units are going to dispute objectives from Legio Panda. So
for objective, what? Well, yep, they confirmed that OC is the way units are going to dispute objectives. Okay.
And then.
Will you still take commissions even though he's in America?
Yes, but we'll just talk about shipping. That's all. That's all. I use Royal Mail. It's fine.
It might cost you quite a bit.
I'm sending one to Canada at the moment, and it's for a parcel 2 kilos or less. It's 20 quid shipping, so it's not terrible.
Yeah, anything.
You just factor that
in. If it's over 2 kilos, it's 40 plus
that's when
pounds
it gets
to America, and it's also a certain size.
Yeah.
I'm curious. Does anyone else play the 13th? No one else plays it.
I know Aaron Dembski-Bowden wrote an entire book about the 13th.
Well,
yeah.
Sorry, Sultan, but 1 guardsman always turns a Warlord Titan. Trumps a Warlord Titan because they have a bayonet.
I can live with that. Exactly. When it comes to specifically a guardsman versus a Warlord Titan, I get it. Space Marine shouldn't be.
It's a bit like the ant next to the elephant, right? The ant has no concept of the elephant because how could they? It's like a guardsman stood there thinking, "Yeah, I hold this objective. I'm behind this huge tower block here. and then the tower block moves."
Yeah.
Oh.
Imagine being that small. I mean, we are that small, but imagine just seeing that, like, oof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the whole. That's
where the term "the bottom drops out" comes from.
What? I thought that's if you have like a really hot curry, then the bottom.
Yeah. Also, if you see a Warlord Titan within X amount of miles of you.
Yeah.
Imagine seeing a city walking at you. That's essentially what it is.
That you said, that is the reason why we like 40k. 40k is full of moments.
To be fair, I usually use that when you're rolling reanimation on your Necrons. You I kill 19 out of 20 and then you roll 18 5s and then you re-roll the other one. Oof.
See, some might say that the reason why I enjoyed playing Death Guard in 8th edition because of disgustingly resilient, a 5-up you ignore all the things. And some might say the only reason why I started playing Necrons is to annoy him with a 5-up all the things.
That can't be true.
It can't be 100% true. And
is it partially involved?
Henry
Service,
thank you for gifting 10 memberships. I appreciate you very, very much. Big round of applause for Henry, particularly if you got his gifted things. A big round of applause for Henry for gifting. Thank you. I appreciate you. I love you very much. OBSEC. OBSEC is a thing. In Horus Heresy, it's a line. I prefer that either you've got control of an objective or not. I prefer that way of doing it. Right?
Yeah.
And if there's someone next to the objective, then you clearly are not objectives.
So you have to kill them or force them to fall back to take. That's why the fallback thing works in Heresy.
I refer the honourable gentleman to the answer I gave some moments ago, which is how can you say that in the military, how can you say that I hold this objective when there's an enemy tank sat on it? Right?
Yeah. Depends what state the tank's in, I guess. But
So
yeah.
I think the rule about controlling an objective or not matters in competitive matches to find out who really has an objective at this time. But in the other game systems, because they'll be open, there'll be narrative, there'll be different ways to play. I think they should say, look, are there any do you have a unit within 3? Yes. Are there any other enemy units within 3? No. It's your objective. You clearly are on the objective.
Congrats.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
the little, the little Halo noise when you pop a grunt and it goes, yay, grunt birthday party.
Grunt
That's what
birthday
happens.
party.
You take an
Yeah,
objective
the
and there's
first
nobody there.
skull.
Yay.
Yay. Yeah. And you press that. I think
Oh,
press
no.
the button, grunt birthday party is good.
Yeah.
I think that's what they should do. That's simple. Easy.
Yeah.
Simple.
People are still panicking about retiring the 13th, by the way.
Are they? What do you mean?
Well, it's been mentioned a few times. Someone's like, did someone say something about retiring the 13th?
What? I'm thinking about retiring
was up
them.
there as well,
I don't
and
know
also-
if it will happen. I'm just thinking about retiring the 13th.
Yeah.
There are a lot to paint, a lot to keep on top of. There are a lot to paint, a lot to keep on top of. I get to play against loads of other Space Marines. My eyes are a bit buggered up these days and they're hard to do. And I feel like to a greater or lesser degree I'm redoing what I have already because I have got the Firstborn collection. And then if I'm adding to the 13th, it's not like I'm adding a list. I'm adding to my collection and it feels like I'm adding more of the stuff that I've already got.
Do you have all the firstborns?
Starting a new... Yeah. Starting a...
Do you have a Damocles Command Rhino? The strongest of the firstborn?
I did have one. Look
Look up a Damocles Command
Rhino. There was
Rhino.
also the Proteus pattern
Yeah,
Land Raider,
that's
which was
cool.
a HQ as well. I feel like if I... Here's the thing. I forget who I was talking to, though. If I'm adding 2 Space Marines, I feel more enthusiastic about adding 2 Space Marines from the ground up to build a type of list. For
Same.
example,
Yeah.
I'm excited about the idea of building an Iron Hands Gravis force from the ground up.
I'll convert the hell out of that with you.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
one, it's all Gravis, and they've got all the bionics, and give them loads
Servo
of arms and loads of things hanging off them. So
They're
they look-
basically all Tech Marines, and then your Tech Marine is a wiggly man on steroids.
I like the idea of a Gravis Space Marine army, which looks like it fell into a bucket of AdMech, and then came out with all these things
Magnets
stuck
and
to them.
bolts.
Yeah,
Ooh.
stuck to them all over the place. I think that would look uber cool. And I don't have loads of Gravis for the 13th. It would look, and then I would go around. I'd be aiming at building a 2,000 to 3,000 point Gravis
Yeah.
Iron
So-
Hands faction,
yeah.
and no more. Not a whole collection. I'm not trying to get this and this
You
and this
could-
and the bikes and
yeah.
things. I'm trying to build that thing.
Again, this is where the new Gravis characters will need to come in. But you have a captain, you got your heavy intercessors as your troops,
Yeah.
and then you get a couple of aggressors, a couple
Yeah.
of eradicators.
Yeah.
Get a couple of the gladiator style tanks, the chunky,
Yeah.
boxy, like
Yeah.
beefed up tanks. A couple of the dreads,
Yeah.
Because they love their dreads. don't they,
Brutalis
Ernest?
running forward.
Yeah,
that sort of
Brutalis running
stuff,
forward, the
whatever.
long range guys, 2
Yeah.
of them at the back or something.
Yeah.
And then you could also lean further into some of the more weird and wonderful options, just to spice it up. you know?
Just a chunky looking
Yeah.
force, reinforced with bits of plate. Can you imagine a Brutalis with bits more plate stamped onto it?
Yeah.
Terminators with the new Terminators. You could add the new Terminators. That'd be
You could
very
absolutely
Iron
have them,
Hands.
yeah,
They're
yeah.
quite chunky with
You could put Blade Guard in and put big cog tooth shields on, which would be cool as hell.
That would be cool as hell.
Yeah, that was what started my little tirade about dreadnoughts and stuff. I was like, no, I was getting to a point and it went.
Oh.
But Blade Guard with big cog tooth shields, yeah.
James Wood, thank you for becoming a tier 3 channel member. And Bobby Hopper. Bobby Hopper turns up all the time and drops in little donations. He's a
What a guy.
legend. Welcome back, Bobby. Winters, love your brother. Sultan, you're an effing legend. You guys rock for the Emperor. See, he doesn't want anything.
For the Emperor.
He's just here trying to big up.
Yeah.
And he likes you too.
I like it when people like me. It's quite
I
nice.
like
yeah.
you.
Yeah.
I like Sultan from Sultan Plays YouTube channel. Check out
Yeah.
Sultan Plays. I like him very much.
I
The
like
main
me.
thing I like about him is the smell. It's very unique.
It's a concoction.
It's a concoction of different. You know, like when you walk into Boots, chat. You know,
They might not know what Boots is. Pharmacy.
people in the UK, when you walk through Boots and you walk through the smelly section and you get inundated with all the smells at the same time.
Tasty smells.
When Sultan turns up, it's like he's just walked through the male part of that section and he's got a bit of Old Spice, a bit of Lynx, a bit of Giorgio Armani. I don't know how many ones he puts on himself, but let's just say from the neck down, he's moist with various perfumes and aftershaves, and he makes the whole world around him smell in this glorious Charlie Chocolate and the Chocolate Factory smell kind of way.
That's all untrue, but I'm a fan.
But it was a good story.
It was a great story.
If you hadn't have said that, the rest of the internet would say, "Wow, I can't wait
to smell Sultan.
Bump into Sultan at some event and give him a good sniff." And then you'd have people
you know what?
coming up to you in the wild going,
some people are
scratching
still,
and sniffing you at Adepticon and events
I am
that.
I am a scratch and sniff.
We could have kept that going for ages. Like,
I think people
have
are
you
still...
sniffed Sultan lately? But you've just knocked that. What?
No, what we've done here is by saying that story is all not true. People are like, well, now I have to know. Was that a lie? Which part of that was a lie? And now people are going to more likely to come up.
It was
just
all
build
lies.
The mystery.
It's
was
all.
it?
Well,
yeah.
You smell terrible.
Oh. No, I'm all right.
Look, see my pits. Look at that. That's how hot
I don't
it
think
is
they
in
can
here.
see.
Look,
Oh, God,
they can see the pits. That's how hot it is in here.
I can't smell you though.
Shirt off and anything. Well, because I had a shower earlier on. When you stink, it's the sweat that interacts with the dirty skin and the dirty things.
Right.
So if you have a full-on shower and you clean yourself and you sweat, it doesn't smell.
Yeah.
But it's when it mixes with all the... Someone in chat will know.
Was there something else 40k we should be talking
about? With all
the
microbes, all the microbes and things, that's what smells. Well, 40k is about young men smelling in rooms together. That happens all the... What?
About the 10th edition reveals. Shout something if we haven't already spoken about.
Yeah.
Shout anything we haven't spoken about already.
What have we talked
spoke
about the
rules,
box set, which we don't
sheet.
know. The Lion's a banger, 10 out of 10.
Smash him.
We like the Tyranid stuff. The rules we mentioned, you said that. Everything free PDF. I did have a comment in one of my things like, I bought 9th edition and I've still left it in the wrapper waiting for the Guard Codex to come out, and I haven't even managed to play a game, so I'm never playing 10th edition because the Guard Codex just dropped and they're bringing another edition. And I'm like...
I can see why that... I mean, I don't know about the rest of it, like not ever playing ever, but I can see why you'd be a little bit annoyed with your Codex just dropping and then...
But
like
what's
World Eaters.
more annoying, getting a World Eaters Codex now, which you can play and have played for a number of months, and then a new edition comes round and it is the last Codex to get updated, and while everyone else gets their new shiny Codexes, you have to wait 3 years for your Codex to get updated, or clean slate for everyone.
No, that's what I get it. I like the clean slate for everybody. I do. But I do feel that guy's pain. He's just like waited for the entirety of 9th edition, waiting for the Guard 9th edition Codex, and then it's... I can understand why people are annoyed about that.
He doesn't need to buy a new book. He doesn't need to buy... It's all going to be free online at the start. Right? Yeah. What have we missed? Scratch and Sniff. March for membership.
Merch for membership, yeah. Gravis, Apothecary and Librarian. The Apothecary is Gravis, the Librarian is Terminator.
Yeah.
Because you could tell by the box on his head and then the struts in his legs and stuff.
We do have we don't have Primaris Terminators or Terminator Librarians in 8th and 9th, did we?
There are a couple of models hanging around.
But they're not in Terminator armour.
They were. You could get a Librarian in Terminator armour.
The old school one.
Yeah, it's just an updated model. It's going to be a new one.
Yeah.
Did you guys talk about the Lion looking older? That surprised me.
He's 10,000
Yeah, he
years
is
old.
10,000, yeah.
It's a bit old.
I think he looks fucking brilliant considering he's
10,000
10,000 years old.
Yeah.
I mean, Winters is what, 999?
Something like that.
You've got your 9,000 years younger.
Yes.
9,001 years younger.
I'm 50 next month.
Okay, here's the thing. Sorry.
What?
You're next month 50?
Yeah.
Oh.
Big 5-0.
You do a stream, not on your birthday, do something else, but like maybe a day after your birthday. And say, I'm 50.
Well, actually,
Keanu
we
Reeves
were going things and we've moved stuff around because there's no place that I would rather be than live streaming to my audience on my birthday.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to get so fucked up.
Yeah. You're just going to drink on stream?
Oh, yeah.
I'll be here.
Well, I don't know how long I'll be going.
What day
for.
is that?
Wednesday.
You're going to do it on the Wednesday?
Yeah.
Wednesday the 19th?
Actually, it just so
just come here and get a school night.
Well, it'll be a school night.
I'm going to Rome the week before.
Are you?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
banging.
Yes.
Nice, man.
Smash the Lion.
Yeah,
sorry, we're talking about the Lion.
Are we?
Yeah, you know, so Yoda, 990 years old or something, wasn't he?
Is he?
He was.
Right.
It's a galaxy long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, he was 990 years. You see how he looked? Little mushroom man.
I know.
Wrinkly.
With
the Lion looks brilliant.
I know. Yeah. It's someone, he's got a fresh haircut and everything.
Yeah, we kind of went off on a tangent then. But yeah, Lion looked great.
I love the sword and the shield thing as well.
Yeah, what's the Emperor's shield? No, I guess the Emperor did always carry a shield in a lot of the artwork.
No.
I mean, he had a talon, didn't he? He had a talon and a sword.
Yeah, he normally had a big sword.
So the Emperor's shield thing is kind of like there you go.
Well, they can call it the Emperor's shield. Look,
Is it like, because they're all brothers, it's like, well, I gave one the sword, I've got to make someone else up now. Yeah. Otherwise they'll fight.
Well, you've got to imagine that after the heresy, during the scouring and stuff like that, the Emperor probably had an armory with more than a sword hanging in it. The Emperor's own personal armory. He did fight during the Crusade for a good 170 years.
Yeah, I mean, Vulcan alone had hundreds of pieces of armour and stuff that he made. You know, so the Emperor probably had quite a bit.
So if the Lion turns up to Guilliman and says, look, I've got the Emperor's shield, Guilliman's probably like, which one? What wing of shields?
Which one did you choose?
Yeah.
Oh, it's the one with the wing.
From the shield wing.
Oh, sweet.
And in the shield wing, there was 10,000 shields, and I took this one.
Yeah, and I took this one. It's like, did you not think to give, if there's 10,000 shields, should we probably give some to our lads in the front line? Is that,
well, they couldn't carry. I mean, the shields are going to be bigger than a
that's a good point. It's a good point.
I mean, put it this way. If someone put the Emperor's shield here, and then it fell on you,
I'd die. Yeah,
you'd be crushed.
Yeah, to be fair, it's all about Space Marine.
Probably weigh about 5 tons.
Yeah,
it's a weapon in itself. Getting hit by that slab of adamantium.
Shield bash. Yeah.
Bobby Hopper, do you feel the interactions between opponents will be simpler, less math?
Yes.
Yes.
I hope.
The idea is that it's more accessible and speeds up the game.
They've rewritten every single data sheet according to their video. So yeah, I mean, Space Marines are probably still going to be toughness 4, 3-up save, but.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the baseline.
You can see by the Termagant data sheet that...
Data sheet.
It's still strength 3... Well, it doesn't have a strength. It's still toughness 3, 1 wound, 5-up save.
Yeah.
You can.
There's no AP on its gun anymore.
Yeah. They technically rewritten the Space Marine data sheets when they went from 7th to 8th. And they were all kind of rewritten because there was no initiative... all the way up to 7th there was initiative, and you used to fight in order of initiative, not who charged first or who charged you. It's who's quicker. You could charge me, I could charge you, it doesn't matter, but are you quicker? What's your initiative? And if your initiative is higher, you would fight first. So that was gone, and the way they did weapons, ballistic skills were gone. You don't ballistic skill, you don't know. Anyway, so they rewrote them for 8th, but they all had held the core, the nugget, the juice in the box that was the same. You know?
The juice.
So the interactions will be simpler.
Yes.
There will be less math. They want to make it accessible again. They saw that 8th edition was a big success, and they're trying to ride the whirlwind one more time.
So,
Synthon Nalio
says, let's see if toughness 4 even matters. Rumours say they want to get rid of the wound rolls. I don't see how they do that, given they've given the weapons a strength characteristic.
Yeah, and there's a toughness in there.
Yeah.
So
they probably still interact, but it's just faster.
For those that don't know, AOS, that horrible game system, that terrible game that no one should ever play without any exterminators or cannons or spaceships or things. They have, you know, like in 40k, we rolled a hit.
Yes.
And then the wound is dependent on the toughness.
Yeah, AOS is always hit and wound the same.
Yeah, well, you rolled a hit on something and then you roll to wound on something.
Yeah, like hammer will always do 2-up or something.
It doesn't matter how tough it doesn't matter if you're hitting a cave troll or hitting a squig.
It's the weapon that is the powerful thing. Yeah.
This wounds on a 2 or this wounds on a 4.
Yeah, and it's like saying an Exterminatus always wounds on a 2-up, re-rolling 1 every time.
I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the hit and wound is a fixed factor in AOS, but considering that all the characters have everything has a toughness and everything has a strength value, or the weapons all have strength values, then I can't see them getting rid of that mechanic.
Typical said,
but I have also heard that in some cases they get rid of the wound thing. So one of the things they could do is, I spoke to this about someone, is if the strength of the weapon is double or more the toughness of the thing that you're shooting at,
just instant,
then don't roll a wound, it wounds.
That'd be cool. Is that a rumour?
That's a rumour.
That'd be cool.
So you rolled a hit, but if you're like toughness 4 and you're getting hit by strength 10 weaponry, don't roll a wound.
So
if you get hit,
if it's more than double
or more.
Because that means Thunderhammers, by that logic, Thunderhammers, if the toughness of the Marines is the same, just go straight through Marines. Which, to be fair, Thunderhammer.
If you get hit by a Thunderhammer, do you really need to roll to wound?
No.
You've been hit by a Thunderhammer.
You could still do your armor save.
Yeah. Still get your saves, because you might be able to save it. So I've heard that is one way they might be going in order to speed up the game.
That would be cool. I'd like that.
It's a version of instant death that they have in Horus Heresy.
Plus, the weapons would feel strong, even though they're not. Even though you have more of a chance to live, it seems, in the game. But the weapons would feel stronger because you're just not rolling to wound. Then you're like, right, this is straight through.
Here's my guess on that. I think that's an early version of the playtest. I don't think that snuck through into the finished version.
Okay, well, it's nice to see they're trying things. Anyway.
Yes. I think there will be a hit And I think there'll be a strength versus toughness wound mechanic in it.
Yeah,
I don't think that side of things is broken and needs... I don't think they need to reinvent that wheel. Sorry, I keep interrupting you. You've seen something
I'm
interesting.
just talking through, so just trying to catch up with some people.
The Bobbins just ordered a mug. I love you. Thank you.
Yay! So Typical said, just to go back to what he said, I'm not saying he doesn't look great. No attack on you. Just surprised GW had the balls to age him. No, that's fair. To age the lion. Yeah, fair one.
Monkey is in his house. Hi, Monkey.
That was where I was going next. Yeah, I always thought it was weird that goblins would wound an elephant on a 6.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting example, but yeah.
Yeah.
Bleh. Yeah, no, to be fair, guardsmen with lasguns wounding a knight is always weird, but yeah. Because that's what you bring them down with.
Punk611 says they're also increasing the toughness on a lot of units to slow down the game. That's an interesting comment there, because they've said at the reveals and online that their main goals for the next edition were simplification and speeding up the game. That was like a core tenet.
Did they say speeding up or streamlining?
Design. Streamlining. They want to make the game faster.
Because that could be different.
More accessible and faster. And faster means less dice rolling, speeding up the game. Having something of a higher toughness doesn't necessarily slow down the game at all. If something's harder to wound...
You spend more time rolling trying to kill it.
Yeah.
Because then you drop it. Because like if your first weapon... So you see you got a tank firing 7 weapons at it, and the first one kills him. Great, sped up the game, carry on. No, yeah, it's an interesting one. We can only speculate, right?
I don't know. That is away from the noise that I've been hearing. Them making design choices to slow down the game is opposite to the things that I have been told about what they're trying to do with this edition.
And Monkey says here, and it's the valid point that we've been saying for a while, the hit and win rolls aren't what takes the time, it's the 17 layers of rules.
Yes.
Agreed, yeah. So I'm -1 to hit because of this. Okay, well, I'm +1 to hit with this, but actually this stacked as well, so we're actually -1 to hit.
Did you remember he's got a relic as well?
Yeah, he's got a relic. Oh, and on a 4-up, I get back up and we restart the fight.
Oh, and it's turn 3 as well, so we need to rewind, actually.
Yeah, because I've got double damage on my weapons.
You forgot to... You could charge over that, but you could advance and charge now because it's turn 3. So
Yeah.
we'll do it again, because maybe you could have also made the other chart, because it's turn by turn interaction rules that change during the turn of a game were very much a 9th edition thing, and I'm going to come out and say it right now, I think they're a big pile of bollocks.
I never minded the assault doctrine thing, the super doctrine for Space Marines, but that's probably because I just played that. Well,
that's
constantly.
how it starts.
Yeah,
that's how it starts. That's how they get you, Sultan.
No, I know. Yeah,
with Devastator, Tactical, and Assault.
Gone.
That's how they got you, and it was nice and simple at the start.
It'll all be gone.
But
soon.
before you knew it, you had AdMech, where these things can happen in this turn, and here's 2 charts for 2 different turns. And this particular chart for this particular turn means your ballistic skill goes up, but that thing goes down. Meanwhile, over here, here's the second chart for the power of the machine bollocks, which means that this thing happened. So you had 3 different interactions in one particular turn that does one. And it's so gotcha, like you're sitting across the table from you saying, I'm going to shoot to that unit now. And say, well, you can't. Why not? Because their toughness is zillion. Fuck you.
Yeah.
It was so gotcha-y. It was so weighty. It was a big pile of monkey bollocks, and I'm glad they got rid of it.
That's what I like for the heresy bit, though, where it's... I've got a melter and I'm firing at the front armor. Front armor's a bit odd. I don't like that so much because it's complex in a way. But let's say something's too strong to shoot at.
Yes.
You just don't shoot at it.
Yeah.
I've got a bolter. There's a tank. Oh, yeah. I can't do anything with that.
That happened in 7th and that happens in Heresy. Yeah. There are many weapons in Horus Heresy that there's no point in firing or attacking. See, this is one of the things someone was talking about toughness earlier on. In Heresy, if the strength of a weapon is, except if you're strength 2 or 3, but if you're strength 4 and you're less than half, so if you're strength 4 and you're firing at toughness 8, or you're strength 5 and you're firing at toughness 10 or more,
you're just not doing anything.
It
unless you've got like armor bane,
anything.
In which case you melters. Even the strength 8, they can
exactly.
Yeah.
There are many circumstances in which a quarter to a third of the weaponry in Horus Heresy can hit, but cannot injure the target whatsoever. You can fire bolt guns all day at a Spartan or a Land Raider, and it's going to make lots of loud banging noises because it will.
Yeah. So Monkey said exploding 6s on turn 3 for Space Wolves makes me sad. I've had 2 turns of not doing it and then need to remember after hundreds of dice roll to do it from turn 3 onwards.
Yeah,
I get that. because if they're gonna have exploding sixes, why don't they just have it the entire game?
See, this is the thing. LDs has put, as a person who started this edition, it's been a nightmare to learn how to play this game. Core rules were easy to learn, but codexes, oh my.
Yeah.
See, that's very interesting because I do know from the couple of polls that Mini Wargaming does that about a third of the people in the community actually started in this hobby. Actually
in
started
this
in this edition.
It was
so a third of
so
people
hyped.
don't know what we're talking about. Well,
yeah.
no, I also think that there's naturally people starting playing 40k. They've played Total War, Warhammer, or Dawn of War.
It's in the news a lot.
Yeah, and it's in the news
especially
a lot.
with more high-profile people playing it. Yeah,
there's a chunk of people in every edition that just start in this edition, and when they can't, and they don't know about any of the baggage, and when they can't even get their head around the core. And the other thing about people who start as well is they typically have one army, and when you get people who can't even start that one army because of the, it's just it's bad for the game. It's bad for the game.
And there's obviously the power creep is a thing as well, and all the rules. My White Scars have only recently started doing anything at all because of the huge changes that GW made.
What huge changes?
Well, the points drops and the ability, because like my Scars list that I brought against you the other day,
that was a lovely
6 months ago would have been a 25, 26, 2700 point list.
Would it?
Yeah, I got like 500 points back.
Wow.
So that's what I mean. But previously I was playing, I still enjoy playing them because they are a fun army.
Yeah.
But I just knew I'd go in and get tabled constantly.
I think you're telling me like the first 6 or 7 games you just lost every single game.
I've played about 15 odd
games
games
you said,
with them, and I've
literally
lost
the first 6 times you played, you never won a game.
I basically was getting tabled every time
because of the points.
I think it was because because the points seem to have fixed it. But again, that's points have always been a balancing mechanism. But for Space Marines especially, when you make them a horde army, they don't feel as elite as they should. That's kind of a lore thing for me. But it's still nice to bring on your toys.
Everyone seen the White Scars versus Tyranids battle report, which is currently available on YouTube between Winters SEO and Sultan from Sultan Plays YouTube channel. Go and check out Sultan Play. Everyone seen that? Hands up, guys. Everyone seen that? Did you like that? Was it a good? I liked that one.
I remember that being a really good game.
Kevin was doing something earlier on, so we saw something there. Then you're deep striking over the backfield. We saw something interesting there, and then we had things were happening throughout that battlefield.
I felt like both armies did exactly what they're supposed to do. The Tyranids swarmed forwards and just nommed, and the White Scars just went around.
Everyone seen that? Everyone seen that?
I'm not going to spoil
the
them
Major 91. Welcome to the 13th tier 3. Thank you for becoming a tier 3. Monkey is a quarter of the way through it. It's a good one, Monkey. I thought it was a good one.
We won't spoil it, but both army did excellent.
Yeah, it was fun. Good. There was banter and things. Dice rolling. There was lots of dice rolling.
We did a little bit of a cock up with some of the dice rolling.
We forgot rules.
Rerolled.
Hey, it's Warhammer 40k. Try and remember all the rules.
Yeah.
White Scars are one of my favoritist Sultan armies.
Then why do you crush them every time, Stylus?
White Scars have got so much flavour to them. It's like I like White Scars. I like Iron Hands because they feel different to other Space Marine chapters.
They play very differently, yeah. They're
Space Wolves, Grey Knights, Black Templars, they feel different to other Space Marine chapters in the lore and in the way that they deploy across the battle grid. And White Scars just,
See, the current rules of the White Scars made me really want to try Dreadnoughts, but my narrative brain just will not allow it.
The current rules with the squad.
So the double damage thing, or the extra damage thing.
Right.
Imagine putting a Dreadnought in, it just does D3 plus 2. Well, sorry, it's D3 plus 3, so D3 plus 4. Every time he hits.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, imagine that. But then the White Scars hate the idea of being a Dreadnought.
Yeah.
They hate the idea because it's slow and it's cumbersome. You don't feel the wind in your hair. So I was like, I can't do it to them. I can't do it to these little plastic men.
There are some White Scars Dreadnoughts during the Heresy.
Yeah.
In particular.
It's a tragic story for them though, and I did consider leaning into it, but I wanted to go full fast because I've got Dreadnoughts in other armies.
Full fast. What if you're doing White Scars? Go full fast.
Full send.
Full fat milk. All the way. I was responsible for some of those early tablings.
At least 2 of them, yeah.
Hit the like button, says Bobby Hopper. Is it Hooper or Hopper with one
Hopper.
O? Is it Hopper?
Hopper, like Stranger Things.
Yeah, that's what every time it's like Hop.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hit the like button. We're nearly we are at 150 likes, so thank you for that. 2 pickles. He likes then, but mostly after he has removed them from the table.
It's Stylus, yeah.
Oh, Bobby Hopper. Contempted Dreads with Volkites are fun, just saying.
Yeah.
Broken, and have been pretty broken for a while now.
I have one Volkite, but then that's for my Salamanders, and I usually give him a Multi-Melter and a Fist instead, because I just like running up and...
And I wonder how broken they will be in the next edition, because that's the other thing. We're going to get a whole new Imperial armour for all the Forge World stuff. because there's a bunch of Forge World stuff, and you'll know which are the good Forge World options because the tournament players will be adding them to their lists like they did when you suddenly saw twin Volkite Contemptor Dreadnoughts pop up all over the place.
Yeah, they do. There's a lot of spammy units.
It's AP dash, but 6s to hit. I think it's two more
wound thing. Yeah.
Or 6s to wound, do 2 more wounds.
It's like
they chuck out 16 shots.
It's like that. So the Kratos that has the Volkite options. So like the Kratos I run has like the Melter Blast cannon because it's a salamander, and then you put like las cannons on it or whatever. But the fact you could take the Volkite main gun and then 4 other Volkites of different calibers along it, nightmare.
And Volkite is mainly anti-infantry, mainly anti-elite. The Kratos isn't that great though. Get a Spartan instead. Hi Winters and Sultan. Sultan is very, but even Sultan cannot make Tau or Squats fun to watch. Let hobby kill off both. Charles and the Colony.
Tau are amazing. Tau are so fun. Squats are I have an issue with, but that's because of the current.
Well, the current codex.
I just feel bad playing them. Whereas to Tau, I don't feel bad because you can counter it.
Yeah.
You know what Tau do. Squats do everything.
Yeah. We need Xenos in the lore, Charles and the Colonies. We need Tau and Votann because we need to kill these things. You need
an enemy.
We need Eldar in the lore. There's only one real faction that shouldn't really be in the lore anymore, and I think that's Craftworld Eldari. They should be. Their time has come. Their time has come. I did put a link on my thing about... Did you see that video that I linked up from Warrior Tier? The timeline of the 40k universe. You need to watch it, by the way. It is epic. I
saw Luton's stuff, about the War in Heaven and stuff. That was great.
Oh, yeah. Luton's War in Heaven. And Moloch. He did the Moloch thing recently. Luton's Moloch. I mean, you don't need me to tell you how good Luton is. Anyway.
It probably helps.
Check out my community tag. Yeah. There is, on the community tag, it is basically a brief history of time narrated by Trazyn the Infinite. And it's like a 50-minute long, and it starts with the Big Bang.
Oh.
First there was the Big Bang, and then there were the Star Vampires 9 billion years ago.
What a great name, Star Vampires.
Which were later called the Catan.
Yeah.
And then there was
Sucking
this
off
race.
Stars.
And then, so, like our history of the universe starts with, we don't even know if there's aliens yet. And here's Trazyn the Infinite saying, well, here's the brief history of the galaxy. It starts with this. And the other thing about it is it starts off nice and slow. Because it's like a brief history of time.
Yeah.
And then it starts to escalate. And then it starts to escalate.
So
and then by the time it gets to the 41st millennium with Tyranids and the Necrons waking up and the Imperium of Man, it's like, OMG, it's really... You can see this. By the time it gets
It's almost like the last 5 minutes of the video, I'm guessing. Like I know it's not, but like in terms of grand scale time, it's like when we describe ourselves in terms of a clock in our real lives. We say, time has been, let's say it's 12 hours on a clock, on an analog clock.
Yeah.
We're the last 30 seconds. We're not even that. We're the last second of time.
It's an epic video. Everyone should watch it. I love the fact that he said something like, the greatest empires in the galaxy don't appear in the histories. They write the histories. So that's why the Necrons turn up. That's why humanity got to write its history with the Imperium of Man and the Primarchs.
Yeah.
They got to
the point the Necrons even consider the humanity to be a nuisance.
He's got some nice things to say about humanity. I do like the comparison he makes. Is like, and then we have the orcs rampaging here. He says, of the orcs, I find that they are most similar to humans. Both like war. Both are constantly fighting with each other.
With themselves, yeah. And
both are obsessed with loot.
Just different forms of, yeah.
Anyway, a brief history. I forget what the video is called.
History of the universe.
But check out the community tag, Warrior Tier. I did give him a shout out because there are a couple of videos that I think are the greatest 40k videos ever made. One of them being the Astartes series. One of them being this video. Everyone must watch it. You've got to check it out, bro.
I will have
Next time you're painting away or something.
Just listen to it, yeah.
It's so well narrated, and the clips he uses are good as well. Like when he does the Big Bang and when he starts talking about primates, he's using clips from David Attenborough and stuff.
Nice.
It's not just 40k clips.
Yeah.
And when he talks about, and humanity first invented warp travel, but they didn't know what they were doing. And for about a second, the event horizon comes up. And then he talks about warp travel, and it's the core inside the event horizon. Oof. And then it moves on. The meme that the event horizon is is humanity's first.
Yeah.
First it is when humanity discovered warp travel, but without Gellerfields. Anyway, check it, and guys, everyone in the chat, check it. You will not be disappointed. I've watched it twice now, all the way through, looking at it like that, going, "OMG, what I'm looking at! This is one of the greatest 40k videos ever made. You need to watch it."
I will. That is one hell of a recommendation. Ben says, "Hi both. Any lore surprises you'd like to see in the End of the Death Part 2? I have not read Part 1.
One of the surprises I'd like to see is Horus is not dead. That the Emperor subdues him and imprisons him on the Golden Throne, and for the last 10,000 years we've been worshipping Horus.
That'd be pretty fun, wouldn't it? And then the Emperor's just off, like, just
the Emperor's been
finger gun into some dubstep.
Like. He's in Marbella, kicking it back.
Just the Maldives. What's used to be the Maldives.
Yeah. And it's really Horus all this time who's been trapped and imprisoned on the Golden Throne. And it's the power of the 4 Chaos Gods, because he is their avatar, he is their thing. And trillions of human beings have been praying to him all this time.
That'd be pretty fun.
That'd be a great twist, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
That's a surprise I'd like to see.
I'd like to see, I mean, there's some story beats that you'd expect. So, who's the guardsman between Sanguinius and the...
I think they did that story already with Old Pearson. So that
was between the Emperor and Angron, or Emperor and Horus or something, wasn't it?
But yeah, and
I guess maybe
he
that's
told the
story,
Remembrancer, don't tell him it was me, tell him it was the Emperor.
And tell it was
and
Horus.
Don't tell him this, tell him it was this.
Yeah.
So maybe that story
that was
dealt
it, yeah.
with. It's how these stories... See, it's like... Dan Abnett spoke about it once in an interview when he's talking about Hercules. So there's so many different stories about Hercules that evolved and changed over time.
Yeah.
And that when we actually get to the stories of Hercules in Homer or the Iliad or wherever the hell...
They're a bit dull compared to...
No. It's an amalgamation of all the stories.
Okay, yeah.
And we don't know what's real, what's not real, what happened. And that's like the... story that we have in the 41st millennium of what happened then.
Yeah, that's whereas this Siege of Terror is the definitive. This is what actually happened. Here's how the story changed. So I'd like to see what Sanguinius does.
Yes,
obviously.
Maybe he's not dead. Maybe he's been imprisoned on the Golden Throne for 10,000 years.
But it's not so much a surprise. What do you say? Lore surprises. It's not so much a surprise, but I'd love to see what happens to the angels after he goes.
What angels?
His blood angels, because the whole thing is in the 8th edition Blood Angels Codex. They basically very briefly cover, the psychic backlash of Sanguinius dying sent the Blood Angels into a frenzy across the planet, and that's where the Black Rage comes from. And I'm like, I want to see that.
Imagine if the end of the Death Volume 2 is this, right? The Emperor's cut Horus down. He's lying on the ground. He's about to die. The Emperor puts his foot on his throat, pulls the trigger. Fade to black, ends.
Been interesting, just done.
That would be a surprise.
Yeah.
I wouldn't like to see it, but that would be a surprise.
Yeah, because then the Emperor's just like, I'm
gunshot,
fine.
Fade to black.
Yeah. He's like, I'm fine. Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah.
But no, I want to see the World Eaters get scared of the angels or something. Like when their Primarch goes, I want to see something snap in them and they just go completely feral.
I don't think it works like that.
Yeah, but I know, because I want to see it.
And we've already seen it in the Heresy, though. So if you do Fear to Tread... you get to see the Blood Angels go
a bit berserk. Yeah, I read that ages ago.
So Fear to Tread is all about trying to turn the Blood Angels to corn, right? The
whole
whole trap, the whole thing. Basically, for those that don't know, there are 4 Chaos Gods. And each of them chose a champion Primarch for themselves. And Angron was not the first choice of Khorne.
Because he was broken.
Khorne set up a whole trap with a whole system. He literally blocked out the stars so no one could get in and out of the system.
Yeah.
It was a big chocolate box surprise thing. He must have put lots of years into hard work, building the shed, painting the walls the right... He spent...
It's probably red.
Yeah. Khorne spent a lot of time down B&Q, buying the nails, buying the paints, getting everything set up to set up the Red Angel for the trap that was, and I forget the name, the Sigmas cluster.
Because they talk about it like hushed tones afterwards, like, we went a bit.
And the Blood Angels went full blood.
We had too many beers for that one,
Yeah, they went full.
Like after a rough night.
Yeah, they were very angry, like a mange dog with fleas.
A rabid dog.
Rabid dog with fleas. They went that bad. So I think we've seen the Blood Angels do that.
Yeah,
and we'd see him do it.
I suppose so. Yeah, I just want to see those big story beats and see what happens. But yeah,
gunshot, Fade to Black. Any more else? Have you seen the videos from
What I've Done by Linkin Park?
Have you seen the videos from Dr. Chris Rayner? He's a surgeon who goes step by step on how a regular human would become an Astartes. Yes, I have, and they're very good.
Yeah.
I do like them. Hello, both.
Oh, Drimor. Sorry, the one you just read out.
Right.
About Chris Rayner.
Drimor.
He's a legend. He's one of my channel members.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh.
Hero, also one of yours.
Okay.
But yeah, shout out every video. What a legend.
Luxul. Malcador is on the throne. Yeah, that's another twist that could be. It's Malcador was... Because he puts... Malcador is on the throne so the Emperor can go and assault Abaddon and the Vengeful Spirit. That's
Horus.
Horus. Yeah. And maybe...
If she doesn't come back.
That's a twist.
Maybe, bro.
Maybe the destruction between Horus and the Emperor... Maybe the big twist is the Emperor of Mankind is dead and all along...
They're both fully...
And the big...
kaput.
Yeah, they're both fully... In order to obliterate him, the Emperor had to obliterate himself. So here's a big twist. The Emperor of Mankind sat on the Golden Throne for the last 10,000 years as Malcador, and he's been there since he was born.
What if the biggest twist of all
Yes.
is they kiss and make up?
Wow.
And then they're like, it's
Yeah.
all right. And then they go
And
hand
they're
in hand
both
and they walk
yeah.
off. And then the rest of them, it's like, Angron walks in at the end of the day and goes, what? And then just drives the Vengeful Spirit into Earth. And they're
Yeah.
like, so what was all that with Abaddon, the Vengeful Spirit later on? It's like, nah, different shit.
Yeah, different. Weren't me, mate.
Weren't me, mate.
Bobby Hopper, thank you for another donation. I appreciate you. Got to run, guys. Got some dice that need... Oh, man, you're going to go and play a game. Poggers, please keep up your fantastic work. You and your group are a really big inspiration for the Emperor. Have a great night, fellas, for the Emperor. Yes, love you too, Bobby. May your dice always roll in your favour. Sanguinary Guard, plot twist. Sanguinius didn't die, but was so severely wounded he had to be put in the black cells with those custodian guards. Second plot twist, the Terminus Protocol is to unleash.
Oh, maybe Sanguinius falls to the rage because he's the rage. What if he fell to it and then they're like, oh, back cells?
Some people have said that as well. Fun. That maybe plot twist. It is the Emperor that kills. I've heard loads of things. The Emperor kills Sanguinius. That puts Horus in a rage, and he does it so Horus goes into a rage. So uses
Sanguinius almost as a pawn. Then
the Emperor uses Sanguinius as a pawn to weaken Horus so he can stab him. I've also heard that that's one thing. That Rogel Dawn. There's all sorts of things. There's a number of characters there, and you could do a lot of different things with them.
Characters. I love the idea of that Sanguinius loses it to the point where they tell the galaxy he died.
Here's the one thing I can guarantee you. Dan Abnett nailed the landing with the end of the Death Volume 1.
I need to read that. I'm going to go back and buy it when I get home.
So he did nail the landing. So Dan Abnett is because he wrote the whole thing at the same time.
Legend, yeah.
And it just got so big that they split into two books. It's not like he wrote one then the other. He's going to nail the landing in Volume 2. Here's two things I can say. Three things. He's going to nail the volume in Volume 2. None of us are going to get the surprise. And here the third thing is, it's going to be awful. It's going to be grim. It's going to be dark. It's going to be terrible. And it will have ramifications for 40k right now.
Yeah.
Right now.
There is stuff that's happening in Dan Abnett's always shaking the foundations, isn't he? Like there's stuff that's happening in his Penitent series, the Bequin series.
Yes.
That I so desperately want to see come to fruition.
Yes.
Because Bequin series is, for lack of a better term, present just before Indomitus,
yes.
right? That's when the last book.
The timeline has moved around all over the place, but now it seems to be pegged because Eisenhorn used to be set like a couple of 100 years ago.
Almost
but
1,000 years before,
it seems to be pegged now.
Well, to be honest, Eisenhorn aged 300 years in like the first couple of books, didn't he? So
150.
He was pretty old. By the time you get to Ravener, he's a couple hundred years old. He's ancient. Because he's got all those augmetics and bio.
Well, by the time you get to Malice, the third book in the series, he's over 100 years old.
Yeah, and then Ravener's set after that, and so on and so on.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's a good couple hundred years old by now.
Because Gideon Ravener's old as well by the time Bequin's coming along.
Yeah, I think, isn't the book it's set like 120, 130? The chat will know, but I think Bequin's set a good 100 plus years, 120, 130 years after the end.
And it's not much of a spoiler to say the book subtitle is Ravener versus Eisenhorn. That's the subtitle of the book.
You buy the book, you can see that on the cover.
Yeah. So that's not a spoiler. So he is in that story, and he's freaking old. But
It's gonna be connected to 40k now. It's gonna be awful. It's gonna be very, very grim dark. It's a secret that they've been sitting on for a long time. It's not like the authors it's not like Dan Abnett and they sat around talking to the other authors. How are we going to tie this together? And Dan went, I know, I've got an idea, and went away and wrote it. As sure as eggs, these guys have been talking to each other for some time about how could we fuck them up.
What ADB said, he said we went. It was like it was amazing being in those early days, being in the writers' room, plotting out the history, just plotting out what they wanted to talk about, and then saying, right, if you take this bit and you take this bit.
They came up with this idea 10 years ago, guaranteed.
Over that now,
and they've spoken about it, and they've debated about it, and they've had conversations about it. And
2006
like,
first book.
And
yeah. 4, 5,
that
6,
was
7,
the last
17 years ago.
That was the last Warhammer Fest I went to.
Yeah, to go see Horus Rising.
When the book came out, and the last Warhammer Fest I went to is when they released Angron, and they released the Horus Heresy 1.0. So I think it was a couple of years after Horus Rising.
The old model, a
couple of years after, I think 3 or 4 or 5 years after Horus Rising, they were like, okay, and the Black Book came out. Do you remember the first Black Book? For the Forge World, and Angron was in. That was the last, because people keep asking me, "You're going to go to Warhammer Fest? Going to go to Warhammer Fest?" It's like, no, we have the internet.
Yeah.
But well done for everyone who went. But yeah, that's the last one I went to. I was so excited.
Yeah.
I had to get my hands on him straight away. But back then, you knew it was coming beforehand. They said we're going to have some big reveals.
Yeah.
So I went to get the thing. These days, you know you're going to get something, but you don't know what it is. And I mean, if you went to Warhammer Fest, you can't buy the lion. You can't turn up and go, "Yeah, I've got the lion finally."
No, he's going to be out in a couple of months.
He's going to be out with.
But I was just thinking, and it might have just disappeared out of my head.
Oh
no! I'd like to see how, because it's got a link somehow, how the End and the Death Part 2 links with the Bequin, for various reasons. If you've read those, don't put spoilers in the chat. If you've read those books, you understand there is some linkage. And there's got to be somehow. And you understand where I'm coming from, right? How
all I know
certain
is
things
on
are through threads.
The live streams that I've been doing, I have been shouting about it for a while.
Oh.
So I'm not saying any more, and I know this is dangerous ground.
Yeah. But I want to see those books link, because it's the same guy writing them. So
the Horus Heresy, one of the things I've been saying again and again and again, the Horus Heresy isn't the beginning, middle, and end of the Emperor's story. The Horus Heresy is a chapter in the Emperor's story. His war against the Chaos Gods had been going on for tens of thousands of years before then. And his war with the Chaos Gods has gone on for 10,000 years after the events of the Horus Heresy. He hasn't given up. He's on it is an ongoing war for humanity's survival in the grim darkness of the far future, where there is only war. Yeah.
You took a moment there.
I was going to put like only penguins or something.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I like penguins.
Well,
yeah.
We've been going for almost 3 hours.
Have we been going for 3 hours? What is the goddamn time?
2:44 up here.
Is it?
So we should probably call it.
OMG.
Because I got a work time.
You're on a school night. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, your every day's a school day for you.
Right. Every day is a learning day for me. Yeah. Every day learning how to do the shoelaces again.
Yeah.
I learned how to. So the polls, you go in here.
You press that.
Press in here.
Start a poll. You type in what you want the question to be, and you can type in something instead of, "Is this a poll?" And then if you wanted to change yes and no to penguins and cats, then you could.
And then you click on, and you can change it.
There.
See, why did it come up with, like beforehand, it just had one half. 100% of people go yes, so it definitely is a poll. So now I know how to do it.
Now 69% of people.
So that's that one?
Yeah. Don't do that one.
What is that one?
That's for people to do super chats and stuff, and you don't want to super chat yourself.
What?
Is they click that and they put the monies. I'd never really.
And that's add a reaction.
Yeah, you can do that. That's just you typing into the chat.
There's something you can make like members only. I've seen people do that, like in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
Is it up here?
What are you trying to do?
I don't know.
While
you're here, I'm asking you questions about this.
What is it you're trying to do?
How do you change it to members only?
To change the stream?
Yeah. Like
to change the chat to. I don't bloody know.
Because I've seen people who've got like. No.
I don't have a Scooby.
Oh.
I'm just going to end the poll there.
What do you mean ending the poll? People are voting in the poll right now.
57% of people said it is. 56%
said that is a poll.
Yeah. So people aren't sure.
Well, you tell me. I wasn't quite certain myself either.
I don't
Pop
know.
out
I
chat,
don't know how to do the
participants
just show
toggle
members.
moderation.
So you've got top chat set anyway, which
I
shows
love
you
the
main
fact
people.
that, like, with youthful enthusiasm, you're happy just to start clicking buttons
Just
all
start
the
clicking.
time. Like, I'm
Start
terrified to
Q&A.
click anything.
Say something.
What is a
Okay,
Q&A?
So basically, people can just type in questions and it'll pop up on your screen, but it's doing that anyway. Just for when people have really busy streams, they can put Q&As up or whatever. Or if they're doing a stream where maybe they're not talking. I don't know. You just use polls. Polls are easy. Yeah?
Okay.
I hope Kat's not hearing this downstairs and just going, why is he saying polls are easy? It's like just insulting my
dear.
people.
So I think we're going.
Yes.
Thank you, everyone who swung by this evening.
Everyone who swings. By
Thank you to the swingers. More importantly, thank you to Sultan from Sultan Plays YouTube channel. Go over there, give him a sub. Video coming up tomorrow.
I've got a video on mine tomorrow. There's a big one on your channel on Saturday.
Thank you for everyone who's joined us in the chat, who's liked, shared, and subscribed. I appreciate you. Thank you for all the donations and the new members and things like that.
He's talked for 3 hours.
I know. But more importantly, thank you to everyone who enjoys coming here and watching my shit. My shit isn't the nicest thing to look at. I try not to, unless it's in a bowl.
Okay.
With some toilet roll on top of it. I try and avoid looking at my shit, but
Bye.
You're looking at my shit all the time, and I appreciate you for looking. I appreciate you. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, or go across to another YouTube channel and like, share, and subscribe on those YouTube channels, because I'm sure they'll appreciate it as much as me. In the meantime, stay safe, stay clean, be good to each other, and happy wargaming.
Love you, bye.
I pressed the wrong button.
Yeah, just press the off.
No, I'm pressing the thing. It's got to be that one.